A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Jerry of the Circus. Now for Jerry of the Circus.
No luck. We've tried every pawn shop and second-hand store in this burg.
I'm getting kind of discouraged myself.
Of course, I knew that vest of Granddad's is something special, but I did think we'd find some old relic someplace.
Well, maybe we'd better buy some cloth and let Clara make you one.
Never. I'll go without a vest till I get the right kind. And now Clara's too busy today to be making me vests.
Yeah, I suppose so. Say, shall we walk down this way? We might just happen to find something.
Okay. But I don't mind telling you, I'm so desperate that if I saw a man with the right kind of a vest on, I think I'd take it from him if he refused to sell it to me.
Imagine taking it right off his back. Guess you and I'd end up in jail. Then we wouldn't need a vest at all. Say, what's all the excitement?
Don't know. Sounds like a runaway.
Golly, you don't think some of the circus horses are loose, do you?
Not a chance.
Yeah! Get out of the way! Out of the way! Beat it!
Hey, lady, look out! Keep out of the street! Jerry, where you going? Jerry! Look out to be killed!
Out of the way! Trying to stop the horse! Hey, hands on! Look, he's caught the bed.
Jerry! All right, I'm coming. Hang on! Hang on, guys!
Look at that kid hang on! Oh, he's quickie, all right. There, the other fellow's helping him.
Here, you slow down now. Well, I got him too, Jerry. I got him too.
Girl, take it easy, girl.
There, that's the ticket. Take it easy.
That's the girl. Easy now. Be still.
Yeah, that kid sure knows his business.
Yeah, funny. Most kids nowadays hardly knows what a horse looks like, let alone how to manage him.
There you are. Take it easy now. Nothing to get so excited about.
He talks to that horse like they were buddies. Hey, kid, is it your horse?
No, but she's all right now, I guess. Who does she belong to?
I don't know. I'm a stranger myself in these parts. You don't see nags like that on the street much anymore.
Hey, thanks. Gee, is she all right? Nellie, what's the matter? Did you get scared, old girl?
This your horse, kid?
Yeah, my boss's.
What happened?
I don't know. I was doing an errand, and I heard some car honking. I guess it swerved too close or something. As a rule, Nellie's pretty steady. She must have gotten pretty scared to go careening off like that.
Well, I'll say she must. Took a block right along with her. Wonder that weight didn't break up the pavement.
Lucky she had it on her. We might not have caught her so easy.
Gee, I'm mighty grateful to you. I'd have gotten into a lot of trouble if anything had happened to her or to the wagon. Gee, I don't know how to thank you.
Well, that's nothing. Glad we happened to be around.
Most kids wouldn't know what to do. Say, how'd you happen to stop her?
Oh, I just jumped for a bit and hung on tight. I knew she couldn't go on forever with me dragging her head down like that.
That's swell. I don't think I'd have ever been able to stop her so good.
Well, you see, son, Jerry here is with the circus. He's used to handling horses. It's pretty much his business, you might say.
With the circus? You mean you work with the circus that just come to town?
Yeah.
Golly. Gee, you too?
Yep, me too.
Say, I never met circus folks before. Heck, that's real interesting. Whoa there, Nellie. Hold your horses. I never seen her jittery like this before.
She looks kind of thin.
Yeah, she ain't so much compared to the kind of horses you're used to, I guess. But I like her. She's the best friend I got.
I just mean she needs fattening up a bit. She's marked nice. Got good points. Yeah, and she's built well, too.
You think so?
Sure I do. Looks like she comes from pretty good stock, all right.
Well, she's not been treated so well, but I do everything I can for her. Leastways since we've been buddies.
You lived around here long, kid?
Uh-huh.
Yeah? Know the folks around this town much?
Well, kinda. Of course, I'm just, sort of a hired boy, but...
Uh-huh. What's your name?
Tom?
Tom. That's a good American name. My name's Slats, and this here's Jerry.
Slats. Jerry. Is Slats your real name?
It is now. Why? Don't you like it?
Oh, sure, I just guess I never heard it before.
Don't let him kid you, Tom. I asked him the same question, and he acted real peeved with me, too. He's proud of that name, and he's got good reason to be, too.
Well, I sure have. When I was younger than you boys, I was the skinniest kid in the business. Dad and I did act all over the country. Guess you're both too young to have heard of Slats and Singles. Say we were terrific.
Folks used to think his dad starved him because he was so thin.
Yeah, and when we joined the circus, first the manager wasn't sure whether to put me in the ring or with the freaks.
Honest?
Sure thing. Why, I remember once some humane society or something got after Dad and he had a terrible time getting us out of town. Had to get doctors and everything to prove I just grew that way.
Gee, that's awful funny.
Yeah? Well, we didn't think so then. Now look at me standing here talking. And what I wanted to ask you was if you knew any folks around here might have some old clothes.
Well, I don't know.
He doesn't mean worn-out clothes. He means old-fashioned clothes that perhaps belonged in the family years ago.
Well, I guess some folks keep them around in attics. My boss has got a trunk out in the barn filled with a lot of crazy old things. He's so stingy he won't throw them away. And no self-respecting second-hand man would buy them.
Yeah? Any colored vests like folks wore years ago?
I don't know. I never go near his things. He's kind of touchy about... Well, I never do, that's all.
I'd pay well for the right kind of a vest. You don't suppose he'd sell it to me if he had anything I could use?
Sure. He'd sell anything if he could get real money for it. He'd sell me, I guess, if he could sell people.
Sell you? Do you belong to him?
Well, kind of. He tried to sell Nellie a couple times, but she's so old no one will pay much for her. And she still works. He grumbles about the feed she uses, but...
It doesn't look like she gets much of that.
Oh, I know. It's something fierce. I do all I can to try and give her...
Say, listen, it's getting late. I got to get busy before the matinee. Jerry, do me a favor?
Sure thing.
Go along with Tom and see if you can find any kind of a vest out around these places, and I'll pay for it. Meantime, I'll go down these back streets and see if I can find something someplace myself.
Sure, I'll be glad to. Guess I know about what you want. That is, if Tom will take me.
You bet I will. Gee, I guess we just about get home before the old man leaves for work.
You mean your boss hasn't gone to work yet? This late in the morning?
Well, he works nights. You see, he's got funny hours.
Good. Then you kids get going. But whatever you do, Jerry, get back to the lot before the matinee. And if Tom can't help you out, he may know some neighbors with attics or something.
I'd sure be glad to try and help. Shall we get going, Jerry?
The sooner the quicker.
Okay. Hold still there, Nellie. Come on, Jerry, climb up.
Okay.
All right, Jerry?
Sure. See, this is swell. Well, Slats, we'll try and find some kind of a vest for you.
Well, you'd better. I don't want to have to go on without the right kind of props. I'll have to change my act. Well, so long, kids. Be seeing you. Come on back with Jerry, Tom, to catch the show. I'll get you in.
Gee, honest? Thanks, Slats. Get up, Nellie. Come on there, old girl. Get up. Say, did he really mean that about seeing the circus?
Sure, of course he did.
Honest? You know, I never seen a real circus.
You haven't?
Nope. I always wanted to, though. But somehow I never had no money, and I was always working. Couldn't get away nohow.
Oh, that's awful. Well, you'll see the circus today. Don't you worry.
I'm afraid he'll never let me go.
Who?
Well, the man I'm hired out to.
He sounds kind of mean.
He's the meanest man I know.
Well, what do you work for him for?
Oh, I can't get away.
What do you mean? You're away from him now, aren't you?
Well, yes. Of course, I could run away, but if I did that, I'd probably never see Dad again.
Gee, that's awful.
Yeah. Giddy up, Nellie. Come on, get going. We'll never get home.
Well, you live far from here?
Well, it's on the edge of town, not far from the tracks. It's kind of a little farm. You see, we raise our own vegetables.
Looks like it's in the direction of the circus lot.
Say, Jerry, how'd you ever happen to be with a circus? Your folks work there?
Oh, they used to, but... Well, both Dad and Mother are dead, and Mr. Randall, he's the owner, you know. He took me in. I've only been with them part of this season.
It must be awful exciting.
You bet it is.
Here, Nellie, take it easy there, boy. Take it easy.
Hey, do we go off on this dirt road?
Yep, this is where we turn in. Say, that's funny. The car's gone.
You mean your boss isn't here?
Yeah. Say, that's awful queer. They don't usually get down to the station so early.
Station?
Well, sure. You see, he's a baggage man at the Hansburg Railway Station.
Baggage man? The man you work for?
Sure.
Oh.
Well, why? Say, I don't think we dare open that trunk while he's gone. He'd about skinned me alive, I guess, if he thought I was snooping around.
But we just gotta see if he's got a vest. We wouldn't hurt anything.
Whoa there, Nellie. Whoa, whoa. Come on. May as well get down. He'll be back soon.
Gee, Tom, I can't wait. I gotta know if he's got anything we can use, because if he hasn't, I'll have to ask around the neighbors and all.
Well, I suppose he can't give me any more than a licking. I've had them before. And it'd be worth it to see the circus.
Oh, no, I don't want you to get into trouble.
I'll tell you what. We'll just take a quick look through. Guess we'd hear his car all right if he came back. Tisn't like we take anything.
Well, all right, if you think it's safe. Of course, if he has anything we can use, we'll pay him for it.
Okay, then. Come on in here. There. You see that old trunk over in the corner of the barn?
Yeah.
Well, that's it. Come on, let's open it quick if we're gonna.
Okay, if you say so. Gee, it's pretty rusty and dirty.
Yeah, no one ever uses it. He just keeps a lot of things that he don't want. Here, I'll open it.
Say, Tom.
Yep?
This man you work for, you say he's in charge of baggage at the railroad station?
Sure. Why?
His name isn't Platt, is it?
Well, sure. How'd you know?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe you mentioned his name. I just thought it was Platt, but I wanted to be sure.
Did I? Sure, I must have. Well, you wouldn't know it, would you?
Say, here's lots of stuff. Gee, this is pretty good red sweater, too. Say, it's a dandy.
Look, here's some old-fashioned stuff. Would this be any good for you, Jerry?
Get out of there. Both of you. What are you doing to my things?
Gee, Mr. Platt, we didn't hear you.
You thought I wasn't home because the car was gone, huh? So you're a thief now. Get up there, both of you, and follow me into the house. I'm telephoning for the police, and I'm telephoning quick.
But, Mr. We
None of your lip. Beat it, both of you. I'll teach you to come snooping around folks' trunks. I'll have the law on both you boys and put you into reformatory schools where you belong. Get going now and move fast.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. detective sergeant. You're assigned to burglary detail. You get a call from a citizen that a burglary is in progress. You know the exact location. Your job, stop it.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Tuesday, June 14th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of burglary detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Bernard. My name's Friday. We were on our way back from a show up, and it was 11:47 p.m. when we got to room 45, burglary squad room.
You want to get started on the report?
Yeah, all right.
Well, I should be glad to get home. I'm tired.
Here. Thanks. You seen the new building yet? What? Seen the new building yet? Yeah, part of it.
Yeah, sure is great. They thought of just about everything.
That lab looks like something out of a movie.
It's all steel, tile. Lee Jones is going to flip.
Well, it's going to feel to have all that room.
It's going to be great to have the lab in the same building anyway.
Burglary Friday. Yeah, that's right. What's that address? No, don't try to stop him. No, right. Goodbye. Get your coat.
Huh?
It's a burglary.
Yeah.
The guy's there now. Frank and I left the city hall, code 3. A few blocks from the place, we cut off the red light and siren. The address was a large drugstore located at the corner of Olive and Santee Streets. We parked the car in the middle of the block and walked the rest of the way. The store was dark when we arrived, but the front window had been smashed and the sidewalk was covered with broken glass.
Stay away from here. Don't go messing things up.
We're police officers.
Oh, I've been expecting you. I'm the one that telephoned you. I'm Arthur Muncie.
All right, sir. This is Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
Hello.
Anderson.
Hello. Took you long enough to get here. The thief's gone.
Where'd he go?
He just took off, that's all. Took off.
Which way?
Down there. There, right down the street.
Do you have a car?
I don't know. I didn't see one. Well, if he did, he didn't drive it. He ran away down the street, you see? See? That way.
Now, how long ago did he leave?
Right after I called you. I come back here to keep an eye on him. He crashed through the window and took off. Running just as fast as he could down that way, the street.
What did he look like? Can you tell us?
Sure. I got a good look at him. Real good when he come out through the window. He kind of laid on the sidewalk for a minute, like it was hurt. Right after that, he ran off.
All right, sir. Now, if you give us a description.
Oh, you want it just the same as I give it to the other fellows?
Who's that?
The other cops. I give them a good one. I told them all about the thief.
Where are they now? Do you know?
They took out after him. They got in the car and drove off looking for him.
How long ago was that?
Right away. They drove away right behind the man. It wouldn't surprise me a bit, but what they caught him, they was right behind him. Now then, you want to know what happened?
That's right.
I thought you would. Well, I was on the way home to the movie down the street. I go there every Tuesday night. They got dishes, you know.
What's that?
Giving away dishes. I've been going since they started. Tonight was Soup Bowl night. Already got 5 of them. Tonight fills out my staff.
Yes, sir. How about the burglary?
The
burglary. Would you tell us about it?
Oh, yes. Well, because I get to talk and the back gets loose. Stay on the track.
Yes, sir.
Well, then. Now, where was I?
You were on the way home from the movie.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was just walking along. I got here by the drugstore and I heard this noise. First off, it kind of scared me. I didn't expect it, you know.
Yes, sir. What was it?
The noise?
That's right.
Glass. A whole lot of glass being broken. I turned around and right away I knew it come from the drugstore. So I went over to take a look.
Yeah.
What do you think I saw?
I wouldn't know, sir.
Would I take a guess?
Look, mister, why don't you just tell us?
This fella was laying right on the floor, right in the middle of the floor, the glass all over. I guess he fell on one of the showcases. He sure broke it all up. Just laying there, not moving at all. Then, all of a sudden, quick like, he jumped up, and that's when he saw me, standing there looking right at him. He saw me.
Yes, sir.
Right off. I knew he didn't have no right in the store. I knew it right away. You know how I knew?
Yes, sir, I have an idea.
You?
No, I don't have an idea.
Well, then, the light wasn't on. No, sir, there wasn't any light on him, so I knew he was a thief. That's when I went to call you. Used the phone booth there, see? Right across the street, able to keep my eye on the place all the time.
Yeah.
Come back here to make sure he didn't get out, and first, I thought the guy was gone. I couldn't see him at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, then he came out from behind the counter back in the back of the place, and I could see he was hurt. Something was wrong with his arm. He held it kind of like this. See? Like there was something wrong?
Yes, sir.
He was trapped. No way to get out. With his arm hurt, he couldn't climb out. So what do you think he did?
Well, I wouldn't know.
Your turn.
Go ahead, Murray, please.
Started running, come right at the window, running as fast as he could. Crash right through it. Broke clean through it. Landed here on the sidewalk. There, see? Right on the sidewalk. Glass all around him.
Mm-hmm.
Laid there for a minute, and then he got up and took off down the street. He was hurt, though, bad. I could see where he'd hit his head on the window, all cut up.
Would you know the man if you saw him?
Oh, you bet I would. I'd know him any place.
We'd like to have you come downtown, look at some pictures.
Sure. Anything I can do, you just name it.
All right.
I'd have scored a settle with that guy myself. I want to see you get it.
Yes, sir, we understand.
He'll be ashamed of himself. Whole thing's his fault. Never would have happened if it hadn't come crashing out that window.
What's that?
My personal reason for wanting to see you get him. He made me drop my soup bowl.
We got a complete description of the suspect, and a local broadcast on an APB were put out. Arrangements were made for the witness to be taken to the city hall to check through the mug books, and then Frank and I started to canvass the area. 12:20 a.m. You think he made it? I don't know. The way Arthur Muncie put it, he was hurt pretty bad. Couldn't get too far. Yeah. Want to pull up? Let's check that alley. All right. No, it doesn't go all the way through. Let's get out. I'll cover the far side. Good. How about it? All right, come on up. Come on, we can see you.
All right. I give up. Don't shoot.
Just stand there. Stand there where we can see you.
I got my hands up. I'm not going to cause any trouble. I give up. Now, please don't.
All right,
shoot,
walk
please.
out here. Walk out here. Keep your hands where we can see him. I'll check him, Joe. All right, turn around. Turn around. Put your hands against the wall.
All right. I'm doing just what you say. Just like you tell me now.
All right, he's clean. All right, turn around. Come on. Put your hands back.
No, look, please don't put any handcuffs on me. Please don't. My wrist is broken. I can't do it. I can't
All right.
stand.
Stand still. Put your hands behind your head. Walk out toward the street.
All right. Get me a doctor, will you? I don't feel good. I think I hurt my head. No, I'm telling you the truth. You can see yourself. I think I hurt it.
Come on, keep walking.
No, I don't feel good. I got awful pain in my head.
Yeah, well, it's going to get worse. The suspect was taken to Georgia Street Emergency Hospital for treatment. We identified him as Leroy Ernest Finch, 27 years old. He had a record listing 2 convictions of burglary along with several misdemeanor arrests. His mugshot was shown to the witness, and we got a positive identification. After emergency treatment, Frank and I were able to talk to him. How about it, Finch? Make a statement?
About what?
The burglary.
You guys are forgetting something.
What's that?
I'm the one who's sick. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't think about any burglary.
That's a nice try, Finch, but it's not going to work.
You better tell me what you're talking about.
We got a witness who saw you break into a drugstore tonight. He's willing to go to court with it.
Well, then you better get a new witness, because the one you got is all worn out.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's right.
How'd you get cut up?
A couple of guys tried to rob me. I didn't like the idea, and they put the screws to me.
You expect that story to stand up?
You got to prove it didn't happen.
We can.
Well, then be my guest.
Why don't you save us all a lot of time and cop out here?
Well, that'd make things real easy on you, wouldn't it?
It'd help.
Well, it's too bad I can't go along with you boys, but I'm not going to carry a beef I didn't build.
You want us to believe that, don't you?
I don't care what you believe. I'm telling you the truth. I was mugged tonight. A couple of guys took my wallet, beat me up, and that's the way it is. There's nothing you can do to change it.
Yeah, we'll see.
Now, if I knew about any burglaries, I'd tell you there's no reason not to.
I can think of a couple.
Spell them.
You've fallen twice before.
I thought we'd get around to that. Well, you guys better take another look. You can't bring up my record in court. You're going to have to make this on your own, and I'm giving you nothing.
It's a little late, isn't it?
Huh?
You already have. That morning, the suspect was removed to the prison ward at General Hospital. He was reported in good condition and was expected to recover in time to stand trial. Frank and I worked with the district attorney's office in preparation of the case. A check of the drugstore by Harlan Stahl of latent print detail had turned a complete set of usable prints. Blood stains found on the floor of the place were of the same type as Finch's. Particles of cloth on the transom where entry had been made matched the suit the suspect was wearing. According to the district attorney's office, the case was complete and the conviction was assured. Thursday, June 16th, we attempted to re-question the suspect, but he was sullen and uncooperative. 6:47 p.m., Frank and I got back to the office.
How about something to eat?
All right, where do you want to go?
How about that taco place on Broadway?
Well, we were there yesterday.
Good food. Prices are in line.
I don't know. I think you could live on beans and tacos, couldn't you?
Sometime I'd like to try.
Yeah. I get it. Burgery Friday. How long ago? Right. Now we'll be right over. Your dinner's going to have to wait tonight.
Huh?
Leroy Finch.
Yeah?
He just broke jail. We left the office and drove over to General Hospital. An immediate warning had gone out to all officers in the city carrying Finch's description. As far as we knew, he was still wearing hospital clothes and wouldn't be too difficult to spot. We went up to the 13th floor and met with a guard who had been on duty.
I see you went out this way.
13 floors to the street.
Not easy to believe.
How do you make it?
Well, near as we can figure, he tore the bed sheets into strips, braided them together, worked at one of the bars until he could slip through. He must have looped the sheets around the other bars and lowered himself.
How far could he go that way?
2 stories. After that, he must have rested on the ledge while he pulled the sheets down after him. Kept going until he got to the street.
Anybody see him on the way down, do you know?
We're checking now. Not likely. If there had been anyone, they'd let us know.
Yeah.
Sure hate to see that guy on the loose. The way he talked, he's going to cause a lot of trouble.
Any chance he had help getting out?
No, he's the only one in the room. Didn't have any visitors. Door was locked.
You mention any friends in town? Anybody you might go to?
No, about the only thing he talked about was the beef against him. All the time saying that he was going to beat it. How he was going to blow your case sky high.
Yeah.
And he was sure of himself. Said you'd never get him into court. He didn't have a chance.
Yeah.
It looks like he might have been right.
It isn't going to change. He hasn't beat it.
Yeah?
He just postponed it. For the rest of the night, the area was subjected to an intense search. All people in the vicinity were questioned. Cars going into and out of the blockaded section were checked. At 7:30 the next morning, a search was called off. Apparently, Leroy Finch had made good his escape before the warning had been sounded. For the next 2 days, Frank and I checked everybody listed in his package. Friends and relatives were placed under surveillance. All known associates and places he was known to frequent were checked. Word went out to informants for possible leads. Every step was being taken to bring Leroy Finch back into custody. Sunday, June 19th, we got word that Finch had been seeing a woman just before his arrest. Her name didn't appear in any of the reports. Frank and I drove out to see her.
I guess this is it.
Well, what about the back?
Oh, this is the only entrance.
All right.
I'll get the door.
Okay.
I'll try it again.
Yeah? Who is it?
Like to see Miss Wall, please.
Who is it?
Like to talk to you. It's important.
All right. Come on.
You think he's here? I don't know. Better be ready for him.
Yeah.
Come on up. What do you want to see me about?
You alone here?
No. Why?
You mind if we check?
No. Go ahead. Come on in the living room. What you looking for?
We're police officers. You know a man named Leroy Finch?
Yeah.
Okay, Joe.
I could have told you that going in.
All right.
Sit down. I'll just have some coffee. Looking at the Sunday funny.
Yeah.
You got to excuse the way the place looks. I wasn't expecting company.
It's all right.
Want you a cup of coffee?
No, thanks.
How about you?
All right.
What do you want to know about Roy?
When'd you see him last?
Oh, let me think. This was a week, 10 days ago.
Not since, huh?
Uh-uh.
You heard from him at all?
No. What's this all about? What's Roy done?
It's all been in the papers.
Outside of the funnies, like it's been a blank. What's he done?
We want to talk to him.
Oh, like that, huh?
That's right.
What do you know about him?
Nice guy. Good spender. We've been out a couple of times. Dinner, dancing, nothing special.
Mm-hmm.
Dresses good. Looks nice. Wears too much padding in his coat. Outside of that, he looks like something in a magazine.
Yeah. Where'd you meet him?
Cafeteria downtown.
Mm-hmm.
I was in there eating one night. The place was pretty crowded. And he came over and asked if it'd be okay if he sat at my table. I told him, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Finished eating, and we went out and had a couple of drinks.
How long ago was that?
Oh, let me see here. Just a couple of months.
You ever talk about any of his friends?
You know where he lived?
I don't think he had one place. Kept moving around. You know, one hotel this week, some other place the next. Just kept moving.
Where was he staying the last time you saw him?
I don't know. Some place down on Pico, I think.
You can't give us an address, huh?
No.
All right, Miss Wold. We'll leave you one of our cards. We'd appreciate it if you could call us in the event Finch gets in touch with you.
Well, sure. I hear anything, I'll call you right away. Oh, excuse me a minute, huh?
Go ahead. We can find the door.
Thanks. Hello? Uh-huh. Oh, yeah, just a minute. Mr. Friday?
Yeah.
Your office. They want to talk to you.
Thank you. Friday. When? I'll be right over. Thank you very much, Miss Wold.
Don't mention it.
Let's go. Yeah. What do you got? They found Finch.
Yeah.
He's been hiding in a house in Highland Park.
You there now?
No, he left about an hour ago.
Whose place belongs to?
I don't know. If we want to talk to him, we better step on it.
Yeah.
He shot them both. Immediately for Georgia Street Receiving Hospital, where the latest victims had been taken. We talked to the doctor in attendance. He identified the couple as Mr. and Mrs. Fred Gilner. They went on to say that both of them had suffered serious gunshot wounds. Mrs. Gilner had been hit in the left shoulder and the neck, while her husband had been shot in the arm and chest. The man was on the operating table at the time, but the doctor said we could talk to the woman briefly. Frank and I went into the treatment room.
Mrs. Gilner. Mrs. Gilner?
Yes?
We're police officers, ma'am. I'd like to talk to you if you feel up to it.
I guess so. I guess it's all right.
We'd like you to look at a picture and see if it's the man who shot you.
Where is it?
Right here. I'll hold it for you. This the man?
Hard to see it.
Do the best you can, please.
Yes. That's him. He's the one.
Can you tell us what happened?
How's Fred? Have you heard how my husband is?
We don't know yet, ma'am.
Shot Fred, too, you know. Shot us both.
Now, can you tell us what happened?
Came into the house last Thursday night. Came in.
Yes, ma'am.
Tried to rob us. Fred surprised him in the closet. Guess he was trying to steal some clothes.
It was Thursday?
Yes, night.
All right. You can go on, please.
Had Fred's gun. Must have found it in the bureau. Had it pointed right at us. Kept waving it around.
Yes, ma'am.
Made us stay in the house. 3 days. Kept us prisoner. 3 days with the gun.
Mm-hmm.
Then tonight, Fred tried to get the gun away from him. There was a fight. Terrible fight. Him and Fred. Fight.
Do you want to stop, Miss Gilner?
No, not much more. He shot Fred. Cold blood. Shot him. Then me. Kept us prisoner and then shot him. Awful thing. Shot.
All right, Miss Gilner. We'll do what we can.
Yeah. That's the best thing, rest. The best thing.
You want to check the doctor? Yeah. Excuse me?
Yes?
Where can we find Dr. Savin?
I think I saw him a couple of minutes ago. He went into treatment room number 3.
Sorry if we go in.
Yes, he's alone.
Thank you. Doc?
Oh, yeah, Joe. Frank, come on in.
Thank you. How'd it go?
Tough one. I think he's going to live.
That's good.
Hope he feels the same way.
What do you mean?
Bullet severed the spinal cord.
Oh.
He'll never walk again.
A check was made at the Gilner house, and their automobile was found to be missing. From papers in the house, we got a make and license number. A supplemental broadcast was gotten out carrying the information. The description of Leroy Finch was broadcast to all policemen in Southern California every 30 minutes. At the end of each transmission, the officers were warned that the suspect was armed and was to be considered extremely dangerous. Border stations were notified, and the checkpoints into Nevada were alerted. Bus and railroad stations were covered, and airline terminals were placed under surveillance. Roadblocks were set up on highways into and out of Los Angeles. If Leroy Finch was still in the city, every precaution was taken to prevent his escape. 36 hours went by without word. Tuesday, June 21st. Frank and I checked into the office.
I'll check the book.
So, Friday. Yeah.
Been trying to reach you guys. Where you been?
We just got back from 77. What's the matter?
We better check with the skipper.
Huh?
That car Finch was driving?
Yeah.
They just found it.
The vehicle had been found by a motorcycle officer on a side street in the Hollywood area. As soon as he'd made sure of the identification, he'd notified Captain Bernard, and then he'd staked out on the car. 4 teams of officers had been dispatched to the scene, and a search of the area was started. Frank and I went down the hall to Chief Thad Brown's office, and we checked with Captain Bernard. He told us to leave for the scene immediately and take charge of the investigation. We went back to the squad room before leaving.
Want to sign us out?
Yeah. I got it. Burglary Friday. Oh, yeah. Speak up a little, can't hear you. What's that? No, I got it. All right, we'll be right there.
What do you got?
It was Hazel Roll.
Finch's girlfriend?
Yeah. He just walked in. We notified Captain Bernard what happened, and along with him and 2 teams of men from robbery detail, we left for the woman's address. The building was covered completely, and Frank and I went up to the front door.
Who is it?
It's Joe, honey.
Oh, Joe. What do you want?
Like to see you.
I'm kind of busy right now, Joe. Can you come back later?
Finch must be with her. Yeah. I'm leaving town. It won't take very long.
Just a minute.
Follow me up and take it easy. All right.
Hi, Joe. Didn't expect to see you.
Got a call from New York. Got to get back there right away. Thought I'd come over and tell you. Sorry about that date for tomorrow night.
Oh, it's okay. I understand.
All alone, huh?
Yeah, but I was just getting ready to go out.
Anybody I know?
I don't think so. Friends out in the valley asked me over for dinner.
Well, I sure wish I could keep that date tomorrow.
So do I.
Hey, I wonder if I could have a drink of water.
Yeah. Guess so.
I'll get it.
Here, I'll come with you. Here's a glass.
Thanks. Where is he?
That one.
You alone?
Yeah. He's got a gun.
All right, you stay here.
All right, be careful.
Thanks a lot. Well, I'll be running along.
Okay.
All right, Finch, we know you're in the bedroom. Throw that gun out and you follow it. Come on, Finch, throw out the gun.
You come and get me, cop.
We can wait a lot longer than you can, Finch.
Well, let's see.
We'll take the building apart if we have to.
Go ahead. I'm not going to walk out of here.
All right, you called it. Frank?
Yeah.
Get downstairs, ask him to bring up the gas equipment.
Okay. Watch your face coming out.
All right, come on, Finch, get up.
Now, leave me alone, cop. Leave me alone.
Come on your feet.
I can't. I'm hurt. I can't get up.
You're not hurt that bad. It's just a shoulder wound.
I am too. You don't. I'm going to die. I know it.
Come on, Jack.
I'm going to die.
You're pretty sure of that, aren't you?
Yeah. I can feel it.
You got it wrong, Finch.
Huh?
It won't be that easy.
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On October 4th, trial was held in Department 97, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial. Leroy Ernest Finch was tried and convicted of burglary in the first degree, escape, a felony, assault with intent to commit murder, 2 counts, and grand theft auto, 1 count. In view of his past record, and because of the viciousness of his crimes, he was sentenced to life imprisonment in the state penitentiary without possibility of parole. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department.
This one's about Pete Kelly. The world he goes around. the big music and the big trouble and the big 20s. So when they ask you, tell them this one's about the blues. Pete Kelly's Blues. Pete Kelly's Blues, starring Jack Webb, with story by Joe Eisinger and music by Dick Kettner.
Cherry Street, Kansas City. It's a standard speakeasy. The ceiling is low, the prices are high, and the whiskey is cut more times than a chin at a barber college. The entrance is just wide enough to handle one at a time, vertical or horizontal. My name's Pete Kelly. I play cornet. We start every night about 10, and we play till the last buck is home safe in Lupo's cash register. George Lupo owns the lease. He's a fat, friendly little guy you can always count on for a 20 in exchange for 2 10s. But that's all right. He lets us play the kind of music we like, and every once in a while he'll let us duck out to make a couple of phonograph records. All he asks is that we're back in an hour and 15% of the take. Well, last night, Matty Wynn had been after us for 2 weeks to make another record for him, to fill out one side. Matty ran a 2-turntable recording joint in a loft over on Baltimore. During the day, he'd keep busy making $2 personal records for the folks to send back home to the farm. At night, he'd rope a combo like ours to put out with some Dixie for the local market. We'd already pressed a few for his label under different names. The Spickardsville Sparks, the Grundy Growlers, the KC Cats. Maybe you got 1 or 2 in your collection. Hold on to them. They're pure. Well, it was getting on to 11 when I pushed the tempo on the last number in the second set. Lupo glared at us as we hustled out. We packed up our instruments, we piled into a taxi in Red's Erskine coupe and slammed out for Baltimore Street and Matty's loft.
Come on, I'll help you with the take.
All right. Let's keep it light, huh? This is a residential district now. Hold it down, boys, huh? Hold it down.
Hey, fellas, quiet down now. Quiet.
Pete?
Who's that, Red?
Looks like Zelda.
Oh, Pete, I'm so glad I didn't miss you.
Yeah, Zelda.
I have to... Could I talk to you for a minute, Pete?
All right, what's on your mind?
Alone?
I got a recording date, Zelda.
I know, Pete. That's why I came here.
We have to get back to 417.
A minute, Pete? A half a minute.
All right.
Okay, Petey, we'll wait upstairs. All right, you guys, let's move. And Pete.
Yeah, Red.
We don't sound like much out of corner. Make it snappy, huh?
All right.
All right, inside, Mo. Okay.
Thank you, Pete.
All right, come on, Zelda.
Don't be mean, Pete. I've had my share of meanness. The way the newspapers...
What did you expect? Rave notices for the way you divorced Matty to marry a hood like Johnny April?
I have a right to live my own life.
Sure, no matter whose life you kick to shreds doing it.
I love Johnny, and he loves me. Oh, Pete, of all people, I thought you would understand, that you would...
Now, look, Zelda. I like a guy named Matty Wynn. In my book, he didn't rate the kind of treatment you dealt him.
You like a guy named Matty Wynn. How much do you really know?
All right, Zelda, just funnel this down. Now, what do you want?
Matty refuses to see me, Pete.
That figures.
I want you to talk to him for me.
Saying what?
You and Matty, you always got on well together. He may listen to you.
Now, look, Zelda, I got a job to do. Get to it.
Matty's got a record that belongs to me. I want it.
What kind of a record?
It's a record you and the boys made once, June 9th.
Well, you're beginning to make a lot of sense, Zelda.
He'll understand, Pete. Just tell him I'll give him anything he wants for the record. You just tell him that, Pete. If you talk to him, maybe he'll...
Now, look, Zelda, just for the book here. I never liked you much.
I know. Pete.
I think you were grief for Matty from the first day he met you until the day you dealt him the final foul. All right, now, why don't you just leave him alone?
For Matty's sake, believe me, Pete. For his sake, I must have that record, and if you're a friend of his, Pete, you'll advise him to give it to me.
All right. I don't know what you want with an old disc of mine, but if it's something you need, it's something Matty's better off without. Matty?
Well, Pete, I've begun to think you deserted us for the Mound City Blue Blowers.
I just left Zelda.
Of course, the wisest thing any man could do.
She's waiting for me downstairs.
Why is it, Pete, that we always assume the vulture to be male?
She seemed more like a frightened rabbit.
Zelda, rabbit? Mink, yes, but never rabbit.
All right, Matty, I'll tell you about it after the session, huh? All right, let's get it on the road, huh? Matty, what do you want us to do?
Well, you just got one side to fill. Last time you did me singing the blues, we never did get a good take on Dixieland One Step.
Okay, all right. Come on, guys. Let's like each other, huh?
Quiet down.
All right, let's do Dixieland One Step.
How you want a routine, Pete?
Well, let's see, like this. Everybody going in. Nick, slug those brakes solid. Matlock, you take the first little break on clarinet.
Yeah.
Now, Mo, you take the second and really blow it out, huh? Give me a
And everybody in on the first chorus, huh?
Yeah, that's right. And I'll take it for 16. Matlock, you take 16, everybody out. Good and bright, huh?
Yeah, Pete.
All right. Ready, Matty?
Just a second. Okay, take it on the count, huh?
All right, now, here we go.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, felt good, huh?
Yeah, it was good for me.
Fine, Matlock.
Matty?
That does it, Pete.
All right, you can pack up. I'll see you back at 417, huh?
Come on, boys. You stand behind, Pete?
Yeah, 10 minutes. Leave the Erskine for me, will you, Red?
Sure. Look, Pete, you come here to take care of your business. Leave it that way, huh?
Don't worry, Red. I aim to. Will you take my horn?
Yeah.
I'll see you later.
All right. Come on. Nice, Pete. One solo seemed a little long for time, but I think we can get it all on.
Look, Matty, I know this is probably none of my business.
The papers and her marriage to Johnny April has made Zelda everybody's business.
Well, she asked me to talk to you about a record.
Indeed.
An old one of ours, June night?
Yeah, June night. I remember it well, Pete. I always considered it a splendid achievement in jazz that should one day become a collector's item.
Zelda doesn't know jazz from German needles and cares less, but she said she'd give you anything you want for that record.
You can tell Zelda that she can purchase a copy of June night at Lambert's for 35 cents.
Yeah, that's why I don't get it.
And if you're fortunate, Pete, you never will. Forgive me, Pete. I don't mean to be sharp with you, but you're young and carefree. Stay that way. And if Zelda should again approach you, take a trip around the world or someplace else, but go.
All right, Matty. She asked me to ask you, and I asked. Good night.
Good night, Pete. Hey. You Pete Kelly?
Who wants to know?
Hear that, Perry? He wants to know who wants to know. All right, I'll tell you. I want to know. Feel better?
Sure, I'm Pete Kelly, but I got a right...
And I got a left. Let's ride.
Thanks, but I got my own car here.
Right now, ours is safer for you. It's bulletproof.
Well, I was going to tell him I didn't need a bulletproof car. He showed me the gun. It was a .45. I know how to admit it when I'm wrong. So we got into the bulletproof car. During the ride, I cased the two artillerymen. Except for their faces, I'd seen them a couple of times before. At 417, over at Sour Sammy's, at Fat Annie's. The same tightly tailored blue suits, the same long, itchy fingers, and the same razor-edged lips and eyes. Oh, there's hundreds of them around. But they're pretty right guys. You gotta know how to handle them. Just do as they tell you, and the chances are you won't lose more than one eye. Well, the car glided to a smooth stop in front of the Roxbury apartments. The private elevator shot us up to the penthouse. My stomach caught up with me as the Gunsels pushed me into a living room that was slightly smaller than Swope Park, but less crowded. One man, all shoulders, no hips, and rich black hair, a face that'd make Wally Reed cut his throat. He was sitting at a table with earphones on. He was tuning a radio. He glanced once over his shoulder at me. I didn't jump more than 20 yards. It was Johnny April.
Just a minute. I've been listening to something good on the earphones. Here, I'll plug in the speaker for you. You hear that music?
Yeah.
Nice reception, huh?
Yeah.
Just got it. 12-tube super heterodyne, Magnavox horn. Pulls in Frisco without static. The best. Drink?
No, thanks.
You sure?
I'm sure.
Canadian import, the best. You sure you want number one?
Yeah, sure.
Well, luck?
Luck?
Yeah, it's good stuff. Got a jolt, the best. You know who I am?
Yeah.
You sure?
Sure.
What's my name?
April. Johnny April.
That's right. You know my wife?
Your wife?
My wife.
Yeah?
You sure?
Yeah, Mrs. April.
Don't you know her better than that?
Than what?
Than Mrs. April?
Well,
Huh?
Well, sure. I know her. I knew her when she... Well, before she...
When she was married to Matty Wynn?
Yeah.
But you didn't call her Mrs. Wynn, did you?
Well, no.
What did you call her?
By her name?
Which is?
Zelda.
Zelda, that's right. That's all I wanted to fix. Now we both know what we're talking about, Zelda. You understand now?
Yeah.
That's why I invited you here, to talk about Zelda. And why you're bothering her.
Oh, well, you lost me, Mr. April.
Not a bad suggestion, but first I want you to tell me what you and Wynn are clubbing Zelda with.
You're asking me to play without a cue sheet, Mr. April. I don't even know the tune.
Tonight you stopped Zelda on Baltimore Street. You talked to her on a corner. You were seen. She was pleading with you.
Now, look, Mr. April, you're spinning it backwards. She stopped me, asked me to speak to Wynn.
About what?
Well, about a record she said belongs to her.
What record?
Well, it's a record. One that I made for Wynn. It's called... The title... Yeah, I know. This sounds silly, but it's true.
Half right, Kelly. Sounds silly because it isn't true. What do you want with Zelda?
All right, April. You take it any way you like. All I want from Zelda is distance between us. Now, I got a date to play.
Jake, teach him. What are you and Wynn cooking?
Nothing.
What do you want from Zelda?
Nothing, I tell you.
Johnny, what are you doing?
Is this the crumb who stopped you tonight?
Yeah, he's the one.
How much did Wynn pay April to take Angel off his hands?
What did he want?
Money. Yeah, he said he and Wynn would make trouble for me. For you.
What kind of trouble?
My divorce. About my divorce. Open it up again unless I paid them.
All right. Now listen to me, Tin Horn. You got luck. You got lots of luck. You should light a candle to your luck. Next time you fill a ditch. This time I only warn you. And these are the warnings in the way. Tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock, you go to Union Station. You buy a ticket, east, west, north, or south. You go. You go till the train runs out of the rails. No more room for you in Kansas City. Only in that ditch. You hear me?
I hear you. Well, Jake and Perry drove me back to the Erskine. They dropped me on Baltimore. I sat on the curb, my head between my knees. After a while, I felt a little better. I could breathe again. The lights were still on up in Matty's loft. He was probably working on the master. While I navigated the long flight of stairs, trying hard to hold back the sudden anger kicking up in me. It wasn't Matty's fault. He'd warned me about Zelda. No use to take it out on him. Well, I went into the loft and made an effort to hold it down. But it was a wasted effort. Matty wouldn't have minded anything I said or did. Matty wasn't even there. Only his body, half covered with the burlap used on the walls to soundproof the joint. He'd been shot once through the head, clawed down enough burlap over himself to make a shroud. I picked up the phone in the office, gave Central the number of Sour Sammy's joint, and waited for Sammy to see if Barney Ricketts was under his favorite table. Barney Ricketts is the only ex-bootlegger I know who went broke in 1922. He set out to prove that a man could drink his gin without ill effects. But he never set a time limit on the experiment. No, Barney hadn't come in yet to Sour Sammy's. Well, I left word for him, meet me at Fat Annie's place. I started to leave. I hesitated and went back to Matty Wynn, spread a clean handkerchief over his face. I made the street 3 stairs at a time. I crossed the river, jolted the Erskine down Boulder Road to Fat Annie's place. Seemed like a waste of good singing, but Maggie Jackson was getting ready to do her number. I eased a lone drunk out of a booth, draped him on the edge of the bar, and sat and listened to Maggie.
Across the river on the Kansas side, that's where Fat Annie and the blues abide. To get your music and your chicken fried, come to Fat Annie. Just pour a pocketful of rock and ride across the river to the Kansas side. And when you get across that great divide, come to Fat Annie.
I'm just beat, Pete, right down to my shoes.
Yeah, it's a noisy crowd, Maggie.
Out-of-town wine buyers with gin chasers. Murder.
Yeah, do you want a beer?
Thanks, Pete. I could use it.
All right.
Hey, draw 2, will you?
Barney ain't been in yet, has he?
No. You got trouble again, Pete?
Where can I buy a new birthday? The stars are ganging up on me.
Ain't nothing in that astrology, Pete.
Well, there must be some explanation. Yes or no, hot or cold, I catch it.
What's the misery this time, Pete?
Only that Matty Wynn caught a bullet in the head.
No.
And if I'm not out of KC by morning, he's going to have company. Look, Maggie, do you remember a disc I cut for Matty? June night?
Sure do. Good session.
You got a copy of that one?
Right on top of the pile.
Where?
In my room, just down the street a piece.
Well, I'd go with you, Maggie, but I don't want to miss Barney.
I'll get it for you, Petey.
Thanks a lot.
Ah, Pete Kelly, noted troubadour, bar of the barrel houses.
Hi, Barney.
And Maggie Jackson, canary of the cribs.
I'll be right back, Pete.
Thanks a lot.
Petey, I've just suffered a great hurt. No sooner did I set foot in Sour Sammy's joint than Sour Sammy himself came a-grinning and a-smirking to tell me with undisguised glee that you were waiting for me here. He was openly delighted to see me go.
Yeah, look, Barney.
I was sorely tempted to ignore the message, merely to aggravate Sour Sammy, you understand. But since it was you, Petey, and in distress, I'll warrant, I came on the wings of Mercury.
Thanks, Barney.
Mercury, that's a thought, Petey. We've tried ether in our beer, chloroform, and even a tincture of laudanum. Now, what would a soup spoon of mercury do? No, too risky, unless, of course, one...
Barney, listen to me, will you? I'm breathing against the clock.
Never will I forget Sour Sammy's attitude, and after all the credit he's given me, too. No, Petey, it proves only one thing. Man is essentially an asocial animal. We band together only because we find it impossible to survive alone.
Yeah, I know.
But there is no true affection anywhere. Like the wolf, yes, take the wolf, Petey. He too herds, but only in times of want and stress.
Yeah.
And as soon as he doesn't have to rely upon his fellow wolf for survival, off he goes to prey upon his own. Yes, Petey, like the wolf, man is a lone hunter, hating the herd because he is forced to depend upon it for survival.
You all through?
Very well, fellow wolf.
Johnny April, Barney, do you know him?
Oh, yes. A fine gentleman, Johnny April, never kills on the Sabbath.
Well, I can't wait that long. He gives me till morning to get out of town.
Foolish man, right now you should be navel-deep in timetable.
Look, I got sucked into this by his wife, Zelda. She asked me to get a record from Matty Wynn that belongs to her. She told April that I'm trying to shake her down. I got worked over, and Wynn got a bullet.
What's on this record?
I don't know. It's just a disc I once made for Matty. It's called June Night.
Why did Zelda want it?
I don't know.
Why did Zelda lie to April?
I don't know.
Here's the record, Pete.
Thanks, Maggie.
And who shot Matty?
I don't know.
Let's save time, Petey. Just tell me what you do know.
Well, all I know is that Zelda's after this record, and she doesn't want April to know it.
And that's the copy there?
Yeah, June Night. I thought maybe we could spin it once and Maybe it'll give us some kind of a message.
I'll put it on the phonograph, please.
Thanks, Maggie. I'll wind it up for you here. All right, listen to it, huh?
Good quality. Mean anything?
Nothing.
No hidden meanings or codes or ciphers?
Nothing there but the music.
Tell me, Petey, how are these things made?
What?
A recording.
Well, you record directly onto a round table of soapy wax, and then they dust this wax with graphite, and they dip it in a copper plating tank. From this, they make what they call the mother, or the stamper. And that's what turns out the records that you buy in the store.
I see. And the wax master, that's always kept in the recording studio?
Yeah.
When you've finished a job, Pete, can anything else be recorded on the master?
Well, I suppose you could dub from one master to another, yeah.
Petey, when I was a mere lad, my old father told me, when you seek an answer, child, always go to the master.
Well, I pointed Barney for the door. We got into the Erskine and jolted back over Boulder Road and across the river. Barney insisted on expanding his wolf-man-herd theory all the way back to Baltimore Street. By the time we reached Matty Wynn's loft, my fangs were on edge. Barney looked away from Wynn's body as we headed for the file room. I yanked open a metal container. It was empty. The master of June night was gone. Yeah, your old father was right, Barney.
He also told me the master will always be there for you. Notice the disarranged state of the files here, all the compartments.
Yeah.
Whoever came for the master of June night went directly to the right file as you did. Didn't find it there and ransacked the rest of the place.
Well, then Matty hid it figuring something like this, but where?
Let's look around the control room, Petey.
Oh, there's no place there to hide a flea.
Did you ever read a story called The Purloined Letter by Edgar Allan Poe?
Not now, Barney.
A wonderful little tale.
Now, look, Barney,
In this particular story, Petey, a number of detectives were taking a room apart by the seams, searching for a letter. They couldn't find it, and why? Because man is blind, Petey. He never recognizes the truth when his eyes fall on it, just as our eyes now fall on this peculiar-looking record on the turntable.
Yeah. Barney, he wouldn't leave it out just like this.
Prove me wrong. Play it.
All right. Let's listen to it and see.
You understand what you're to say, Zelda?
You wrote the script for me.
Not that I don't trust you, of course.
Let's get on with it.
phone, Zelda.
This close enough, Matty?
This close enough, Pete?
Don't be foolish, Zelda. Put that gun away.
Give me the record, Pete.
Sure, in exchange for that gun.
You'll get what's in the gun.
Like you dealt it to Matty? The record here on the turntable all the time, and you broke 3 nails ripping those files apart?
Face the wall. Keep your hands up. Lean against it, both of you.
Excuse me, madam, but I just dropped in to make a record for the folks
Shut
back
up.
home. Surely.
One move, and I'll give it to you in the back.
That's my department, Zelda.
Johnny!
Give me the gun. All right, Zelda. I told you here. I only bought a small piece of your yarn. Now I want the rest of it.
I didn't want to involve you, Johnny. I came to pay them off. They killed Matty. See? See there? And I got the gun away from...
No good, Zelda. Can't you see his face? He's just run out of mileage and ideas. Listen to this, April.
No, darling. It's a frame. This...
Shut up. All right, Kelly, I'm listening, and it better be good.
All right. Here it is. It's all on the record.
Just close enough, Matty?
Perfect. Now, just in case anything goes wrong, this recording will be our protection from each other. To whom it may concern, my wife, Zelda, and I have entered into this agreement of our own free will.
All right, just get to it, Matty.
Go ahead.
I have told Johnny April that I want to divorce my husband and marry him. When this is accomplished, it is our intention that I be made a widow as soon as possible and then remarry Matty Wynn.
Just for the record, you agree to decoy said Mr. April to a predetermined spot where you'll be unarmed and without bodyguard. I agree to shoot Mr. April. The police will not question your story that he was ambushed by a rival mobster, identity unknown to you. You will then inherit the April money and return to me. You agree?
I agree. Crazy enough to do anything for you, even when you tell your own wife.
All right.
That's enough.
This will be legal.
Johnny.
April, don't shoot her.
Johnny, don't. Please, don't.
Get over, Zelda.
No.
Back off so I won't miss you. Zelda!
Johnny! Johnny!
He can't hear you.
I should have let him kill me.
You fell in love with him, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Only one thing I didn't count on.
Yeah. You can't dance at 2 weddings with one heart.
Pete Kelly's Blues, starring Jack Webb, with story by Joe Eisinger and music by Dick Cathcart, scoring by Matty Matlock. The music of Pete Kelly's Big Seven and Maggie Jackson is now available on phonograph records. Ladies and gentlemen, the Red Cross already has allocated more than $1 million for emergency relief work in the flood-stricken areas of Kansas, Missouri, Illinois, and Oklahoma. The biggest Red Cross job, however, will be rebuilding and refurnishing homes in the flooded areas. Cost of this job will run into the millions, more than present Red Cross resources can provide. That is why President Truman has issued a special appeal to all Americans to contribute generously to a special Red Cross flood fund of at least $5 million. Send all contributions to your local Red Cross chapter.
The proceeding was transcribed. It's the Silver Jubilee on NBC. Tonight, one of your old friends is returning to NBC. Yes, there's fun for everyone tonight with Uncle Gildy, that happy, bungling hero of the airwaves, the great Gildersleeve. And later tonight, there's the best in recorded music on Meredith Wilson's Music Room. Meredith's special guest this evening is Frank Lesser, the composer of Broadway's musical Guys and Dolls. And make a note to hear Dragnet tomorrow with another authentic story from the files of the Los Angeles Police Department. The great Gildersleeve tonight on NBC.
Chesterfield brings you Dragnet.
Put a smile in your smoking.
By Chesterfield. Smoother, cooler, best for you. Ladies and gentlemen,
The story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to robbery detail. You get a telephone call from a woman who wants to see you. She says it's about her husband. She's afraid he's going to pull a holdup. Your job? Check it out. Listen. Listen to news of an electronic miracle. The greatest improvement in cigarette making in 30 years. It's the Accuray, and it's a Chesterfield exclusive. To you, it means cooler smoking, smoother smoking than was ever possible before. The Accuray electronically checks and controls the making of your Chesterfield. So, for the first time, you get a perfect smoke column from end to end. You'll marvel at the extra flavor that comes through. Yet, because this measurably better cigarette smokes more slowly, you enjoy a cool mildness never possible before. Yes, from the first puff to the last, your Chesterfield smokes smoother. Your Chesterfield smokes cooler. Chesterfield is best for you. Today, discover what modern science can do to increase your cigarette enjoyment. Change to Chesterfield and put a smile in your smoking. Look for the new Chesterfield carton. It tells you only Chesterfield is made the modern way with Accuray.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Wednesday, May 18th. It was cool in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of robbery detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Chief of Detectives Thad Brown. My name's Friday. I was on my way into the office, and it was 7:49 a.m. when I got to room 27A. Robbery.
Morning, Joe.
Hi, Bob. Well?
Well, what?
Good morning, Frank.
Oh, hi.
What's eating you?
Nothing.
Are you mad about something?
What would I be mad about?
I don't know, but you didn't say good morning.
I'm just not going over there anymore, that's all.
Over where?
The Talbots.
Who?
The Talbots, you know, live down the street, sells real estate.
Oh, yeah.
We bought our house from him.
I see.
We got to be friends. At least his wife and Faye are friends. I never cared for him much myself.
Mm-hmm. What happened?
Hmm?
Between you and him, did you have a fight?
I don't fight with people, Joe. You know that.
Oh, that's right.
I just found him out, that's all. Just found him out, the kind of a guy he really is.
Is that right?
Yeah. They use signals.
What?
Signals, him and his wife. Can you imagine that? They use them.
What kind of signals?
Different ones for different words.
Well, what do you mean?
When they play charades.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Well, that's too bad.
Had us over their place last night. Some other couples, too. About 8 or 10 of us in all. Yeah, 10. 5 on each side.
Each side.
Yeah, for the charade game. You played it, haven't you?
Yeah, when I was about 10 years old, we used to play.
Well, now, look, buddy, it's no kid's game. Not the way they play it.
Is that right?
No, they give you stuff to act out. Titles and quotations. You've never even heard of half of them.
Mm-hmm.
And to top it off, they got signals.
Yeah.
Noun, verb, little word, big word, person's name, letters of the alphabet. They got signals for all of them. You can spell something out. What's the point of the game?
Well, beat you pretty bad, didn't they?
Huh?
Last night in the game, you lost.
That hasn't got anything to do with it, Joe.
No, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter who wins or loses. It's the principle of the thing.
That's all it is.
Signals.
Yeah, I get it.
And they use them.
Robbery Friday. Yes, ma'am. Well, I don't know. What seems to be the trouble? I see. Yes, I guess we could. Where is that? Are they open this early? All right. Yes, ma'am, we'll be there. Goodbye. Lady wants to talk to us. Says she'll meet us at a bar out on Melrose.
What's it all about?
Her husband.
Yeah.
He bought a gun. Frank and I drove over to a small bar on the corner of Melrose and 8th. It was 8:23 a.m. when we got there.
Morning, gents.
Morning.
Hello?
What'll it be, a little eye-opener?
Just coffee.
How about you?
I'll have a cup, too, please.
No, the plate isn't ready yet. I just finished putting it on.
That's all right. We're in no hurry.
There's a cafe right around the corner. They're open now.
Well, we'll wait.
Suit yourself. I guess you guys aren't like me.
How's that?
When I want my morning coffee, I want it right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know I'm awake until after I've had a couple of cups.
Mm-hmm. It's all right if we take a booth?
Sure. First one's all cleaned up. I haven't had time to get to the others yet.
All right. Thank you.
Looks like you got here first, huh?
Yeah.
Did she give you a name? Did she tell you her name?
No. No, she said she didn't want to talk over the phone.
Oh. Joe.
Well.
Hi, Sally. Hi. Give me a shot, will you?
Sure. Scotch?
Yeah. Water back.
Okay.
Go ahead, mister. Take a good look.
I was waiting for somebody. I guess I made a mistake.
Yeah, you sure did.
I'm sorry.
A little later on, I might be interested, but not at 8:30 a.m. Getting worse all the time, ain't it? Gal can't even have a morning pick-me-up without some guy starting to move in on her. Well, here's looking at you, Mike.
Down the hatch.
Put on a tab.
Yeah, sure.
See you around.
Hey, your coffee's about ready.
All right, thank you.
Want cream and sugar?
No, black.
How about you?
Same.
Coming up. Don't pay no attention to Sally.
Yeah?
She must have got out on the wrong side of the bed today.
Mm-hmm.
Usually she's real friendly, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just don't take it personal, huh?
That's all right. Forget it.
Too bad you guys came in so early. Along toward evening, we get a lot of action here.
We're meeting somebody.
Okay. Just telling you, that's all.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh. Whew.
Yeah, boy, that's hot, all right.
I think I burnt my tongue.
That's too bad.
Tomcat Bar, Mike speaking. Who? Well, I don't know. Yeah? Yeah? Okay, sure. Hey, one of you guys got a name sound something like Friday?
That's right.
Well, you're being stood up.
Huh?
She said to tell you not to wait.
Frank and I left the Tomcat Bar and we went back to the office. 10:17 a.m. An informant called with a tip about a grocery store holdup that had taken place the previous Monday. We interrogated a possible suspect, but his alibi checked out. The next day, Thursday, May 18th, 9:43 a.m.
Again. Robbery, Smith. Who? Oh, yeah, Smith. Joe, it's for you.
Okay. Friday. Yeah? Yeah, I remember. Well, we were there. Well, why don't you give me your name this time? No, I'm sorry. We'll have to have your name. Flint? F-L-I-N-T? All right, now look, Miss Flint, if this is some kind of a gag... All right, if you're sure this time. Right. All right. Goodbye. The woman again. Woman who called yesterday morning?
Oh, yeah. What you want now?
Same thing. Meet us at the bar.
You think she's on the level?
I don't know. It sounds like it this time.
Why didn't she show up yesterday, then?
Says she tried, but she just couldn't.
Why not?
Said something about loving her husband.
Yeah.
When the chips were down, she couldn't bring herself to turn him into us.
Yeah, but she will now, huh?
Says she has to. She can't wait any longer.
Why?
Says it might be too late. 10:16 a.m. Frank and I left the office and drove out to the bar. When we got there was only one customer in the place, a small, dark-haired woman sitting in the corner booth.
Hi.
How are you today?
What'll it be, coffee again?
Yeah.
Okay, what do you want?
Well, we'll let you know. That woman over there in the corner.
Yeah?
Do you know who she is?
Don't think she's been in before.
All right, thank you.
Say, that reminds me.
Yeah?
Sally was around last night. I asked about you.
Yeah.
Guess she had a change of heart. She's a pretty good kid.
Yeah. Miss Flint? Are you Miss Flint?
Yes.
Well, my name's Friday. This is my partner, Frank Smith.
Can we sit down, man?
I guess so.
You guys want your coffee over there?
Yeah, it'll be fine.
How about the lady?
Would you like something, ma'am?
I'd like a drink.
All right.
I'm going to need it.
What'll it be?
Oh, I don't care. Bourbon, I guess. Bourbon and ginger ale.
Lady wants a bourbon and ginger ale.
All right.
Does he know?
Ma'am?
The bartender, does he know you're cops?
Oh, I don't think so. We haven't told him.
If anybody finds out I talked to you, if Rod ever finds out, well, I guess that just about washes up.
Rod's your husband, is that right?
Yeah.
Rodney Flint. Well, is that his name?
Well, not really, not his real name.
Well, what is it then?
I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. I just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
He'd never understand. He'd say I was double-crossing him. Maybe I am, maybe I...
Here you are. 2 coffees and bourbon and ginger.
What do we owe you?
That's $1 even.
There you go.
Okay, thank you.
4 years I've been thinking about it, living with it. 4 years I've been trying to make up my mind whether I should go to the police or not.
Yes, ma'am.
But things seem to be working out. He was doing so well, making good money. He's changed, too, honest he has.
Well, now, suppose you give us the whole story.
You married, Sergeant?
No, ma'am.
What about you?
Yeah, I'm married.
Well, tell me something, mister, and you tell me the truth.
What's that?
Suppose your wife got you in trouble. Suppose she squealed on you. What would you think of her?
Well, I guess it would depend on why she did it.
Oh, I've got a reason. Best reason in the world. I'm in love with him.
Yes, ma'am.
If I wasn't, I'd just walk out. If I didn't love him, I'd have walked out years ago.
Now, when you called us yesterday, you said your husband had bought a gun.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you know what he wants with it?
No, not for sure.
You got a pretty good idea, though, haven't you?
Has your husband ever done any time, Miss Flint?
Yes.
What for?
He stole a car.
Anything else?
Robbery. Supermarket back east.
Whereabouts?
Michigan. He used to live in Detroit.
How much time did he do?
7 years.
Did he come out free?
I don't know what you mean.
I'm sorry. Afterwards, was he on parole? Did he have to report to a parole officer?
Oh, yes.
For how long?
It was supposed to be 10 years.
When did he get out of prison?
5 years ago.
When did you come to California?
About a year later.
Did he have permission to leave the state of Michigan?
No.
Well, what made him leave then?
He just came home one day and said he couldn't take it any longer. Said he was going to L.A. and that it was up to me whether I came with him or not.
Do you know if he's wanted for anything else beside violation of parole?
I don't think so.
You know, you still haven't told us his real name.
Frazee. Ralph Frazee.
All right, then it's Mrs. Frazee, huh? What about the gun?
Well, like I said, everything was going along pretty well. He's got a good job, and he's had 3 or 4 raises.
Where's he work?
Oil refinery. Pacific Crest Oil Company.
I see.
He likes the work. They like him, but the longer we live out here, the better things are. Well, that just makes him more scared.
Well, what's he scared of?
Oh, that somebody will find out who he really is, and then he'll have to go back to prison. If he just sees a cop, he goes all to pieces. He's sure they've finally caught up with him. Just a traffic cop, even.
Mm-hmm.
He gets worse all the time. Jumpy and nervous and, well, scared. That's the only word for it. He's been drinking a lot more, too, nearly every night.
Mm-hmm.
Then just last week he ran into a guy that used to be a friend of his.
Back in Detroit?
Yeah. This fellow knows all about him, that he's been in prison. And Rod's afraid... Ralph. I've called him Rod so long I keep forgetting that it isn't his real name.
Sure.
Anyway, he's afraid this guy will say something to somebody that'll all come out. It's just driving him crazy. So he bought a gun.
Did he say why?
He was pretty drunk night before last. That's when he brought it home. He mumbled something. If he was going to go back to prison anyway, he might as well make it worth their while.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he's planning another robbery. I don't know. I don't really think he would. But with all this drinking and being so darned upset, well, I don't know what he might do.
Where's the gun now, Miss Frazee?
At home. He hid it in the stove in the pan under the broiler. At least that's where he put it last night after...
After what?
Well, you see, he was carrying on doing a lot of talking, and he was holding the gun at the same time, waving it around, telling me how easy it'd be to go out and rob somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Said that way he could get enough money for us to leave the country and go to Mexico, maybe, where they'd never find us. Right in the middle of everything, the pistol went off.
I see.
It was just an accident. He wasn't pointing at anything. The bullet only went into the ceiling. I'm sure he didn't mean to pull the trigger.
Yes, ma'am.
But when he heard the shot, he acted like he was going out of his mind. He was sure the neighbors had heard it, too, and that they'd report it to the police.
What'd he do then?
Well, he dug the bullet out of the ceiling and got rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
After that, he just waited. Now, that proves he's changed, doesn't it? That he really isn't a criminal anymore?
Well, how do you mean that?
Well, he didn't run away.
Yeah.
He stayed there all night long, waiting. And he didn't keep the gun. He put it in the oven. He didn't have it on him. So there wouldn't have been any trouble even if the police did come.
Mm-hmm.
Gee, I kept praying that they would. Over and over, I prayed you'd come and find out who he is. He's got to go back to prison and finish out his sentence. I'm sure of that now. If he doesn't, I just don't know what'll happen to him.
What about you, Miss Frazee?
Me?
While he's in prison, what'll you do?
Oh, I can work. I did before. I'll manage.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Frazee, what time does your husband come home from work?
It's later and later since he started drinking. 9 o'clock, maybe even 10. He's never there for supper anymore.
Is there someplace else you can go this evening? Over to a neighbor's, maybe?
I suppose so. Why?
Well, it might be better if you weren't there when we pick him up.
But you can't. I mean, well, not so soon, not tonight. Does it have to be tonight?
Yes, ma'am, it does.
He'll know it was me, that I had something to do with it. He's bound to know.
We'll keep you out of it if we can.
What are you going to tell him? What kind of an excuse will you use?
Let's see what kind he has.
Smoking with a smile with Chesterfield. Smoother, cooler, milder Chesterfield. Put a smile in your smoking, just give them a try. Chesterfield's best for you. They satisfy.
When you shop, stop. Remember, vacation time is carton time. The cigarette to take with you is Chesterfield, made the modern way with Accuray. Take along a couple of cartons and put a smile in your smoking. Chesterfield. Smoother, cooler, best for you. Remember, in the whole wide world, no cigarette satisfies like Chesterfield.
Put a smile in your smoking, just give them a try. Chesterfield's best for you. They satisfy.
Frank and I continued to talk to Mrs. Frazee. She agreed to be out of the house during the evening. She also gave us a description of her husband. She said he was WMA, 38 years old, 5'11", and he weighed about 170. She told us he had black hair, brown eyes, and a dark complexion. 11:27 a.m., we went back to the office. We ran the names Rodney Flint and Ralph Frazee through R&I. They had nothing on Flint. Under Frazee, we found a warrant from the state of Michigan for a violation of parole. The dates given on the warrant checked with what Mrs. Frazee had told us. We contacted the Pacific Crest Oil Refinery, and without stating that we were from the police department, we learned that a man named Rodney Flint had been employed there for the last 3 years. They said he was a steady, dependable worker. 6:32 p.m., we drove out to the address Mrs. Frazee had given us. It was a modest one-story home just off Santa Monica Boulevard. We parked across the street and waited for Frazee to return from work. 7:05 p.m., we saw Mrs. Frazee go into a neighbor's home 3 doors west. Frank and I continued to wait. 8:46 p.m.
Joe, across the street.
Yeah, he's turned into the driveway. Let's give him a minute, let him get inside.
All right.
No, the lights are on now. Let's go.
All right. I don't see the bell.
Over there.
Oh, yeah. Who's coming?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
We'd like to talk to you for a minute.
What about?
We're police officers.
What?
Police. This is Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
I didn't send for no cops.
It's all right if we come in?
What do you want?
Just want to talk to you, that's all.
No, you can do your talking out here.
Be easier if we were inside.
I ain't got all night.
Neither have we. This won't take very long.
Yeah, okay, come on.
All right, stand right
Hey,
there.
what?
Stand still.
What is all this?
He's clean, Joe.
What's your name? Come on, give us your name.
Flint.
First name, too.
Rodney.
You alone?
Yeah.
You live alone?
Our wife's out. She Left me a note. Said she's going over the neighbors babysit for her.
Mm-hmm. Were you home last night?
Yeah, I was home.
All night?
From about 10 o'clock on.
Did you hear a gun go off?
What?
A gun. Did you hear one go off?
Of course not.
Well, somebody did, and they reported it. Said it sounded like it came from this house.
Last night, she said.
That's right, Flint.
Oh, boy, what a police force. You cops ought to be real proud of yourself.
Yeah?
That's all you got to do, check up on some characters, been hearing things.
There wasn't any shot, huh?
Well, I didn't hear it.
I see.
Kind of late to be asking, ain't it?
We just got around to it.
Took a whole day, huh? Suppose you need a cop. What are you supposed to do, make an appointment ahead of time?
Are you sure about this, huh, Flint?
About what?
You didn't hear any gunfire.
I didn't hear nothing. There's a lot of traffic down the boulevard. Maybe a car was backfiring. Maybe that's what it was.
Mm-hmm. Do you own a gun?
Uh-uh.
You sure about that?
Well, I'd know if I had a gun, wouldn't I?
Sorry if we look around?
What for?
Want to give your place a once-over?
No, it's not okay.
Oh?
I ain't gonna have you busting in here. Now, come on, go on, beat it, huh?
We can get a search warrant and come back.
Now, you listen to me, and you listen good,
Yeah.
huh? This isn't Skid Row, mister. This is my home. I own it. And you're not messing around a Main Street bum, either. I got a good job for a big company. They pay a lot of taxes in this town. They pay a lot of your salary.
Yeah.
My boss is a pretty important guy. He's got friends. So now you just take your little badges and move on.
All right, Flint, if that's the way you want it.
That's the way I want it.
Just give us one more thing. What are you afraid of?
I'm not afraid of anything, you guys especially.
You're sure not very anxious for us to look around. There must be a reason for that. Well?
Okay. Go ahead and search. It's no skin off of my nose.
All right, thanks.
Fat chance you'd ever find on something even if it was here. Dumb cops, it took you a whole day to get here, a whole day to answer one lousy crackpot call.
Well, don't forget.
Yeah?
It got answered. Frank and I began a routine search of the house. While Frank went through the 2 bedrooms, I took the living room and dining area. We found nothing suspicious. 9:42 p.m. We'd finished with the front part of the home, and we went into the kitchen. The suspect followed us.
Okay, if I fix myself a drink while you're messing the joint up?
It's up to you.
You guys want one?
What?
A blast. You want one?
No, thanks.
What about you?
No, thanks.
You don't drink, huh? You're not hurting my feelings.
I'll check the service ports, Joe.
All right.
You know, my wife's going to raise Cain when she sees what you guys have done to the house.
We're being as careful as we can, Flint.
Yeah, sure. Well, now, come on. How about winding it up, huh?
Just a couple of minutes.
Well, you boys really believe in wasting time, don't you? What do they do, pay you by the hour?
There's nothing out there, Jim.
All right. I guess that takes care of it.
Yeah.
All right, come on. I'll be glad to show you to the door.
We'll find our way. Just a minute. Did you check the stove?
Huh?
The stove.
No, I thought you did.
All right.
All right, now what?
We forgot something.
Yeah?
Well, it looks empty.
What's with you? You think I'm cooking a gun?
Yeah, it's okay, Joe.
All right.
As soon as I get this pan back.
Hey, watch it there.
Grab him, Joe.
Wait a minute, Flint. You're not going anywhere.
Look, I don't know what this is all about. I never saw that gun before in my whole life.
Yeah.
I don't even know how it got.
Well, let's talk about it downtown.
Huh?
Come on.
Look, wait a minute now. You can't haul me in like this. What have I done? You got to have a charge. I know the law. You got to charge me with something. You won't find anything.
We found a gun. We drove the suspect down to the city hall, rolled his prints, and booked him in on suspicion of robbery. 11:06 p.m. We brought him into the squad room for questioning.
All right. Sit down over there.
What kind of a frame is this? Come on, how about letting me in on it, huh? Who'd I rob?
You can forget about our robbery charge. I guess we made a mistake.
Well, that's what I've been telling you, you know.
We had to check the gun. We had to be sure.
All right, so now you know.
Yeah.
Okay, no hard feelings.
Sit down, Fraser.
What?
You heard me. Sit down. Maybe we were wrong about the robbery charge, but we came up with something else. A warrant from Michigan, violation of parole.
What about it, Fraser?
Well,
what do you want to know? You've got it, the whole story.
Why'd you leave Michigan? Why'd you jump parole?
Oh, what difference does it make?
Suppose you tell us about it.
I didn't have no choice.
Yeah?
I used to play around with some pretty rough boys. I got out of the joint. They're still in Detroit. Looked me up. You guys will think I'm conning you, but... Well, look, I wanted to go straight. They had different ideas.
Yeah?
So we came out here, Dorothy and me. She's my wife.
I see.
Well, you can check on me. I've been clean ever since. Ask the company. Talk to anybody about me. They'll tell you I'm clean.
Yeah.
That going to help back in Michigan?
Well, that's not up to us.
Sure. I thought that was why they sent you to jail, so you'd learn something. So when you come out, you won't do it again.
That's part of it.
Well, I learned. What good did it do me?
Maybe you didn't learn enough.
Huh?
There's a law against an ex-convict having a gun.
Oh, you're going to stick me with that one, too, huh?
That's not up to us either.
Lousy gun. If it hadn't been for that gun, you'd never found me.
Well, it might have taken a little longer, that's all.
Sure, that's what did it. I don't know why it went off the other night. I thought the safety was on, just my luck. I never had a decent break in my whole life, not one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, is there any more you guys want?
No, I guess not. Not now, anyway.
It's all right if I call my wife.
Yeah, we'll fix it for you.
Wonder how she's going to take it.
I don't know.
I guess she'll stick by me. She always has. Through all the rotten breaks, no matter what. Yeah, she'll stick.
Well, you must have had one good break then, huh?
Huh?
When you married her.
The story you've just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On Thursday, May 25th, the meeting was held in the district attorney's office in and for the county of Los Angeles, state of California. In a moment, the results of that meeting.
Now, here's our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you, George Fenneman. Friends, discover for yourself what modern science can do to increase your cigarette enjoyment. Remember, Accuray puts a smile in your smoking. Enjoy a smoothness and coolness never possible before. Chesterfield, best for you.
In the interest of justice, and because of the suspect's good behavior record in Los Angeles, it was decided not to press charges against him for possessing a gun. Ralph Putnam Frazee, alias Rodney Flint, was turned over to Michigan authorities to serve out his previous sentence. He has since been released and has returned to his former employment in Los Angeles. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors, Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Frazier. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Stacey Harris, Herb Ellis, Vivi Janis. Script by Frank Burt. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking.
Watch an entirely different Dragnet case history each week on your local NBC television station. Please check your newspapers for the day and time. Chesterfield has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles.
This is it, L&M Filters. It stands out from all the rest. Miracle tip, much more flavor.
L&M's got everything.
It's the best.
Yes, L&M's got everything. Superior taste, superior tobaccos, superior filter. It's the miracle tip, pure and white. Buy L&M, America's best filter tip cigarette. Hear Dragnet next week, same time, same station.
Tonight, hear a special broadcast. The Atom, Menace and Promise, on most NBC radio stations.
My name's Regan. I get 10 a day in expenses from a detective bureau run by a guy named Anthony J. Lyon. They call me the Lion's Eye.
Jack Webb is Jeff Regan, Investigator, as CBS offers you hard-boiled action and mystery and thrilling adventure in tonight's story of The Lawyer and the Lady.
The Cosmopolitan Building is on 7th Street near Olive, downtown L.A. International Detective Bureau's up on the 3rd floor, suite 308. Right across from an elevator that hasn't been inspected since 29, when the guy who built the place took a vacation up at Folsom. I always use the stairs. Well, the plaster's bad, but the rent's cheap, and The Lion says his office is just the kind of place that invites business. He's got a leather chair there about the shape of a fallen biscuit. That's for him to relax on. And right next to a desk with some blank checks and an inkwell, there's a hard, straight chair. That's for the client. The Lion got mad when our last customer asked if the chair was wired. Well, when I walked in last Thursday night about 6 o'clock, he was staring at that empty chair. Wishful thinking.
Regan! Christmas is coming.
Well, that's news.
It's the time of year when everybody's nice to everybody else.
Somebody give you a calendar?
I got better than that. It's a check.
From who?
His name's Kramer. He's a big lawyer.
We need one again?
He's our new client. He wants to see you.
What about?
He'll tell you.
You tell me.
I want you to be nice to him. He's a big man. His office is in the Park Central building. Abercrombie, Kramer, and Schmidt.
A trio.
It's an important legal firm in this city.
Well, what's the job?
I told you he'd give you all of it.
Look, the last time I waited for a client to talk, he died.
Now, look here. The kind of dough he pays, you could do janitor work for him and not ask questions.
Oh, you never learn.
This is a certified check. Came by special messenger. He's waiting for you now.
What else?
The messenger said he wanted all this done confidentially. No police. You understand?
You'd kidnap your own mother for cash.
You're not alive.
And then you'd starve to death charging yourself ransom.
I'm going to be patient with you, Regan.
No, this is another rotten deal.
These big legal outfits can't afford to be dishonest.
You've been making a living doing it?
Kramer's in legitimate practice. I checked on
Oh,
him.
sure you
I pay your salary, and I take things as I see them.
Well, you need stronger glasses. Well, I left him sitting there holding the check up to the light. He had both arms above his head. He reminded me of a two-armed slot machine. I walked the 4 blocks over to the Park Central building, and an elevator operator with a cardboard collar took me up to the 7th floor. Abercrombie, Kramer, and Schmidt had a flock of stables in the back with a fire escape. The names were hung out in silver. I figured if they were ambulance chasers, they used a motorcycle escort. I opened the door and stepped into a green carpet that needed mowing. Then I heard a noise at the deep end where the trout stream should have been. She had hair the color of smoke. The rest of her spiraled up to match. But she looked unhappy, like a termite in a granite quarry. She glanced at her typewriter, and then up at me. The Remington 1.
We've already ordered our Christmas cards. Get them in July.
Well, maybe I'm not selling.
You should. You're the type.
Kramer in?
He might be. But he never sends cards. Doesn't believe in Christmas.
Well, he sent my office a check.
Did he? What office is that?
I'm Regan, International Detective Bureau.
Stick to greeting cards.
Kramer sent for me.
Oh? He wants protection, huh?
You tell me.
Maybe it's something else.
Now, let's find out.
In a minute. He's busy right now.
What's the matter with Abercrombie?
He's dead.
Schmidt?
Wishes he was. Palm Springs with a hangover.
Yeah, real nice bunch. How long you worked for him?
Too long. My jokes are newer.
Well, Benny's making a move. Maybe he'll hire you.
I don't like funny men. What do you do when you're not working?
All depends on who I'm with.
Thought maybe you were antisocial. That's Kramer's.
I was ahead of her trying the door, but it was locked from the inside. She fumbled around on the desk and finally brought out a key. Kramer was sitting at his desk holding onto the front of his shoulder. His face was white and he wasn't feeling too good.
Fire escape. He got through there. And he called Dr. Sorensen. This wouldn't look good in the papers. No police.
That's a big order.
Well, that's a big hole in his shoulder. Well, it was too late to start looking around the fire escape, and when Dr. Sorensen showed up, he called a private ambulance and had Kramer taken to a private hospital. The doc said he wouldn't be able to talk until morning, and, well, they wanted it quiet. There was no sense getting homicide all excited. Emmy went to the hospital with him, and I hung around the office for a little while. Everything was locked up tight. The files, his desk, and the liquor cabinet. So I figured it was time to give the Lion the nod. I doused the lights and went downstairs. Outside, the street was kind of vacant except for a steamroller with whiskers washing down the gutters. It dodged around a big green car parked by the curb, and then it swivel-hipped around my car, where a little guy in a trench coat was leaning in looking at my registration tag. When I tapped him on the shoulder, he looked confused, like he was trying to catch a cyclone on a paper bag.
Huh?
You looking for something?
Oh, no. No, just,
Looking.
Yeah, that's right. Looking.
Come on, blow your nose.
A little cold, that's all.
Tell me about it before your throat gets sore.
I told you, just looking.
Car belongs to the finance company in case you got extra keys.
No, Pilgrim. Never borrowed a buggy in my life.
You can't drive.
How'd you guess?
Come on, you. Let's pour it out.
Sure. You the guy?
What guy?
Guy that says there. Regan.
I might be.
Don't want to make a mistake.
Deal, will you?
Somebody wants to see you.
Who?
Guy.
Well, I don't know him.
Yeah. Guy says please.
Reads Emily Post.
That's right. Friend of mine. Weighs 285 pounds. He's across the street in the ice cream parlor. Last stool on the end.
Well, I tell you, somebody else is carrying my books home today.
Oh, he wouldn't care. Big man. Gonna see him?
Can't he walk?
Says if you argue, mention the name Kramer. Now you gonna see him?
How can I miss? He weighs 285 pounds. Oh, it didn't figure, but sometimes you look and nothing figures. Kramer had taken one in the shoulder, and before he'd been able to talk, the lights had gone out, and he wound up in a hospital. Well, somebody had an angle, and maybe it was the guy across the street. I found him sitting all alone, about 300 pounds of beard in a plaid coat. He was picking all the strawberries out of his ice cream. Hey, you said for me?
Mm-hmm. Regan?
You got it.
Have something. Great banana split here. 4 kinds of ice cream.
I'm on a diet.
Oh, I never worry about things like that. It's a mistake. You only live once. Know me?
You got a name?
Spec Jameson. You know me now?
You got a grudge with Kramer?
Yeah.
You shot at him from the fire escape.
I did? When?
Half hour ago?
Anybody see me?
No.
That's good. How'd I do?
He got it in the shoulder. He'll live.
Up to that point, it could have been me.
Well, it's going to make a good story for the police.
For anybody. I'm clean as a whistle. You sure you won't have something?
Now, look, I got a date, Fatso. Let's fan this out.
Oh, sure.
How about Kramer?
Oh, yeah. Where'd you say he was?
Hospital.
Oh, yeah. He hire you for protection?
Maybe.
Regan, you got a lot to learn about life.
No, just about living.
You catch on quick.
To what?
Now, you take me, for instance.
Your complexion's not so good.
It'll improve. Besides, I don't like trouble, Regan.
You'll have to get used to it.
It's just there's some things a man can't stand. Can't take lying down.
Name 3.
No, I just want you to understand I know what I'm doing, that's all. And this is what I'm doing. All right, Regan. Back on your feet.
Yeah, they serve ice cream and big dishes,
I'll
don't
give
they?
you a boost. Here's my hand.
Take off the knuckles.
Quiet, Regan. There's some more metal in my pocket.
I don't need a Geiger counter.
I said you were smart. Now get this. It's a clean sweep. You're staying out of it.
Suppose I stick around.
Then I'll unglue you.
I left him sitting there with his ice cream. Wouldn't have done any good to trade fists with him. But there was something in the way he talked about Kramer and the shooting that made it a Sunday puzzle. I found a phone booth and put in a call to the Lion.
Regan, where you been? You see Kramer? What'd he say?
Well, now, which one do you want first?
What about Kramer?
He was all shot up.
Target practice?
Some guy with a grudge.
If he plays like that, yell cop.
Look, they'll want to see you. No police, remember?
What are you talking about?
Another bum client.
Why do these things always happen to me?
Because your palm is faster than your brain.
Every case has it.
Look, this is a 3-ring circus, and we haven't even got any peanuts.
Well, maybe I should have found out what he wanted.
Oh, you say that now.
Who's got the grudge?
A sweet tooth. Calls himself Spec Jameson.
Spec, where's he fit in?
He wouldn't stand still to show me his tea leaves.
You talked to?
We met.
When people start asking questions, we don't want to be stuck without any answers. You get out and run down some dope on this man Spec.
What are you going to do?
Don't worry, I'll take care of my end.
Yeah, most people do. Well, this job had more ups and downs than the Berlin airlift. I turned the phone book over to some drunk with a beer breath, and I walked over a couple of blocks to the morgue. I mean, the one where they keep dead newspapers. I got a friend who works in the file room of the L.A. Times. After 15 years of it, he's got about as much adrenaline as an old magazine in the attic.
Nope. No, I never heard of a Spec Jameson. Probably a nickname, isn't it? You know, Spec, short for glasses?
Yeah, I caught the drift.
Thought I was going to say spectacles, didn't you?
Hey, look, let's try this for size.
Yeah.
Big, fat guy, but always hungry.
Mention any friend?
Kramer, and he wasn't a friend.
Spec Adams in last Thursday's paper.
What'd he do?
Executed the same day in Sing Sing.
Spec Jameson.
Released from Quentin day before yesterday.
Let me see.
That's all it says. Served full 10-year sentence, continuous on 4 counts.
Somebody threw a book at him.
Yeah, maybe. Tell you in a minute.
Try December 38.
This case would have come up in November. Yeah, there we are. Yeah. You take these.
Yeah.
Hey, look at the funny skirts. Short, weren't they? Hey, here's one. War impossible, says
Look,
Bennett.
let's stick to the subject.
November 17th, Jameson appeal denied.
Read it, man.
A lot of stuff. He was in the rackets.
Go on.
Judge said unusual completeness of prosecution's case made retrial impossible. Continuous sentence upheld.
Who was the judge?
Old Govern, he's dead. Here's what you want. Special Prosecutor Joseph W. Kramer.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Joseph W. Kramer was brilliant relentless work for the forces of good in Los Angeles.
It's for you.
Okay, thanks. Yeah?
Mr. Regan?
Yeah.
This is Emmy, Mr. Kramer's secretary. Are you always this hard to find?
Well, that depends on where you look.
Mr. Kramer wants to see you.
You talking now?
He's feeling much better. The doctor said it was just a flesh wound.
What kind?
38.
All right. Where's the hospital?
It's a little place on Hawthorne. Mrs. Kramer will show you. If you don't mind going by the Biltmore and picking her up.
I haven't got my car.
Use Mr. Kramer's. It's in the garage there.
Is she expecting me?
I phoned.
15 minutes.
Good. He wants to thank you for what you did.
Well, what'd I do?
Kept the police out of it.
Well, it's his show, but it may close.
What do you mean?
I ran into Spec Jameson.
Oh?
Now, you still want the police out of it?
I don't know. Mr. Kramer will tell you when he sees you.
You sound like you're changing jobs. So I went over to the garage, and I picked up his car, and then I drove to the hotel entrance. While I was arguing with the cab driver, Mrs. Kramer walked out. 45, a little tired around the eyes. She was wearing a white sheet, double bed size, under a mink coat that must have set somebody back $10,000. She didn't look like a wife that Kramer had had.
I hope this isn't inconveniencing you.
No, it's not.
Are you sure my husband's all right?
He's talking, according to Emmy.
Emmy. She's there with him.
She's his secretary.
Funny, isn't it? I'm his wife, yet she spends more time with him than I do.
Well, that's business.
Even now. When he's been hurt, she's there first.
She was there when it happened.
Of course. I guess I... Oh, never mind. You're a detective, aren't you?
Yeah, that's right.
Mr. Kramer hired you to protect him from that Jameson.
I never found out. Maybe.
I've been so worried about him. At the trial, Jameson said he'd kill him if it was the last thing he ever did. You know, I always thought it was taking an awful...
Hey, take it easy, lady.
You know the story.
Emmy?
She's young, pretty. I have to spend my time at bridge fights.
Does it help?
No.
How long you been married to him?
Next month, 18 years. I don't look the same way anymore.
Neither does he.
It's funny what life does to you, isn't it? I was his secretary. Once. That's how I met him.
Look, how far to the hospital?
It's only a few more blocks. You go straight
Hang
down.
Who do you know that drives the big green Nash?
No one.
Well, he knows us. Been following us since we left the hotel.
What do you say?
Is he still with us?
Yes. I can't understand a thing like this happening. Why would anybody want to follow us?
Maybe it's a friend of your husband's.
Jameson?
He tried once tonight. Maybe it'd be better to get you.
I'm scared.
Come on, get out.
Mr. Regan!
The green Nash had been tailing me. I shook it on the last corner. There are lots of them, but it might have been the same one that was parked by my car downtown earlier. Oh, it made no sense, but I wasn't taking any chances. Only before I could get the door open, the Nash came sliding around the other side of the block. I shoved Mrs. Kramer into the floorboards and slid into the room. A lot of glass got broken fast. By the time I could separate my teeth from the clutch pedal, the car had gone. I shook Mrs. Kramer, but she didn't shake. She was dead.
You are listening to the story of The Lawyer and the Lady, tonight's adventure with Jeff Regan, Investigator. Listen, this is good news. Good news for you if you're between the ages of 20 and 26 and a half, married or single, a high school graduate, and want to fly for the United States Air Force. Yes, the Air Force Aviation Cadet Program is offering you the opportunity to become a pilot officer in the mightiest Air Force in history. You can be one of the Air Force's men of renown. And there's more offered than the pride you feel in being a member of America's flying team. For after your 52 weeks of training, you'll graduate as a second lieutenant in the Air Force with an income of more than $300 per month. Remember, the Air Force offers you what it offered General Jimmy Doolittle, General Carl Spaatz, and General Hoyt Vandenberg. Now, at 42, the Air Force Chief of Staff. Call at your local Army and Air Force recruiting station tomorrow. Apply to become an aviation cadet. And now, back to the story of The Lawyer and the Lady and Jeff Regan, Investigator.
Well, it all made sense, like a Ubangi with a piccolo. It started when the Lion sent me over to see a lawyer named Kramer. I got there just in time to meet Emmy, his receptionist, and find Kramer with a bullet in his shoulder. The hospital took over, and I left. That's when I ran into Spec Jameson, an ex-con who Kramer put away some 10 years ago. He turned out to have a lot of stomach and a big hate for the lawyer. And then I got a call from Emmy to pick up Mrs. Kramer. I did, and the shots began, and she ended up a candidate for the city morgue. Well, I called homicide, and I sent out some boys to clean up. I gave them what I knew, and I moved on out to see Kramer. The Angels of Mercy Hospital turned out to be a private place off Hawthorne. 2 stories of cement set down in the middle of a clover field. It figured that they only held a thermometer to patients that could make a big noise with a cash register. Kramer showed in an upstairs room next to a fire escape. He was climbing into an overcoat. And when he saw me, he looked unhappy, like a pointer with a broken tail.
Well, Regan, I'm glad you came to see me.
Tell me that later.
What do you mean?
How's the shoulder?
Oh, a little annoying, but it's all right.
Well, that figures.
Why?
It was a neat shot, just enough to raise a little fever.
What are you driving at?
Give it a chance. It'll sink in.
Come on, let's get out of here.
All right.
Pick up my wife downtown?
Yeah.
Good. She worries a lot. You know, tell you what, Regan, I'll send a check around in the morning for another 100. That all right?
Make it 1,000.
What's that for?
Insurance against guys like you.
Never mind that, Regan.
Why didn't you tell the Lion what you wanted in the first place?
I didn't know.
I got another story.
Well, you're wrong.
You knew Spec Jameson was out.
No reason I should tell you that.
I'm rehearsing a witness, that's all.
What?
Yeah, now let's hear what you did to him.
Nothing, not a thing. He can tell you that.
In 38, you got the book thrown at him.
He was a public enemy.
So's Smog.
Regan, a man in my position...
Maybe that's it. Maybe you're the kind of shyster that builds a rap on convictions.
Well, grant you had helped. That's all you want.
So he hated you.
He made threats.
What cooled him off?
$10,000.
When?
After I discovered he meant business, I sent someone with the money.
Figured Jameson forget everything for cash.
Men of his stripe always will.
Well, you made a mistake.
Everybody does sometimes. I guess Jameson is still using his gun.
No.
But my shoulder will mend.
Your wife won't.
What do you mean?
She's dead.
No.
Homicide will tell you different.
I'd better go down to see them.
Yeah.
That bullet was meant for me.
Yeah, like you said, everybody makes mistakes. Well, we climbed in the taxi and headed for headquarters. Kramer looked confused. He mumbled a few words about what a good cook his wife had been, and how he'd always tried to protect her from the stuff that he'd done to make a success. He was the kind of guy that always figured it was better to make a deal than face facts. Now he had to face a backfire.
Well, there were a couple of newspaper photographers in front of the place. Kramer's shoulders dropped a couple of notches, then he headed for inside. I started in behind him, but an arm stopped me.
Regan, come here.
What are you doing out of bed?
Sit down. Get back in the taxi.
Look out, that meter will bite you.
I'm not paying the fare. Downtown, driver. Okay, Mac.
You know the cops are going to love you for this.
They can hear your side of it later.
Sure, and you'll stand behind me.
Now, Regan, I'll tell you how I figure this. She gets killed. It was a mistake.
Oh, now, that takes a big brain.
Kramer's got enemies. Said enemy didn't the wife Regan to get Kramer.
That's the last chapter.
And we'd like the next one. Turn in said enemy, and we'll pick us up a nice fat reward.
Homicide started with Jameson already.
They're going to be surprised.
What do you mean?
He didn't do it.
How do you know?
I look into things. That's how I know.
Well, all right, big shot. Open it up.
It goes this way. 15 minutes after I talked to you, I put a call into the cops.
Saying what?
That I don't like my operator being threatened by ex-cons. What happens?
You tell me.
The police themselves take Jameson out of circulation. He was locked up before Mrs. Kramer got found. He's sitting in the Hollywood station house right now with a smile on his face.
Talking?
No. Eating ice cream.
Well, now it really made sense, like a mermaid on a bicycle. If Jameson didn't throw the lead, I had to find out who did. The taxi dropped me off downtown across from the Park Central building, and I started up the elevator to Kramer's office. It figured to be the time to get a look inside that locked desk. When I opened the door marked Abercrombie, Kramer, and Schmidt, the place was dark. I moved into Kramer's office and started a little work on the desk. It took me about 10 minutes to get inside. Nothing showed in the first two drawers, but in the third, I picked up a box of Panatellas and I looked under it. That's where I found a .38 with one bullet missing. Well, ballistics could do something about it, so I crammed it in my overcoat pocket and I started outside. That's when the door opened and the little guy with the runny nose walked in. He was wearing a suit the color of an avocado and his face looked like a fried banana.
It's a nice rug, huh?
You from the cleaners?
I make my own spots. Sit down, Regan. We're going to talk.
I'll take it standing.
We prefer you sitting.
It's your gun.
More natural that way.
You got a name, Buster?
They call me the Dove.
The bird.
No cracks. Just the Dove.
Peace mission?
It is. Resting.
All right, what is it this time?
Where's Kramer?
China.
Regan, you're an unlucky contestant.
If you don't like my answers, try somebody else.
That's what I'm doing, correcting mistakes.
Like shooting the wrong guy.
Like leaving a witness. I had to get rid of my Nash on account of you.
You killed her, now you're waiting for her husband.
Of course I killed her, but don't try to change the subject. See what I'm talking about now.
Well, I don't like the spotlight.
You should have stuck your nose in here, Regan. It'll bleed.
Let's start with yours. I dove for him, and the gun went off, only it wasn't pointed at me. Kramer was standing in the doorway, pulling a trigger like a kid at a bubblegum machine. I figured the floor was safer, so I flattened out. The Dove tried the same, only he hit the wastebasket.
Did I get him?
Well, he looks as dead as he'll ever be.
A cheap murdering...
Look, let me hold the gun, huh, Kramer?
Yes. Oh, Regan, there's a bottle in the cabinet there.
Sure. Here you are.
Thank you.
What are you going to do now?
I don't know. Call the police, I guess.
I thought you were with them.
I came down in their car to get some of my files.
On the old Jameson case?
Yes.
You want to tell me?
Oh, it's about as you know. He was a small-time grifter. I gave myself a big name by prosecuting him, built my business and the reputation it gave me.
You told the police why he hates you?
Oh, yes. I intend to stand trial for killing this man.
You're growing up, Kramer.
Who was he, anyway?
The Dove.
No driver's license. Oh, yes, here it is. Dove Duval. Regan, look at this.
That's a lot of money.
It's $10,000. Same amount of money I sent to Jameson to stay away from me. Looks like the chickens came home to roost, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does.
Well, police are waiting. I'd better go and tell them about this.
Go on.
You coming?
No, I'll meet you there, Kramer. I got a late date. I gave the boys downstairs the high sign, then I moved out of there fast. I found Emmy's place just off Normandy. It was a brand-new duplex with a gilt-edged driveway and stocks and bonds for awnings. For a business girl, she really did all right. I was a couple of hours overdue, but the girl with the smoky hair knew how to wait. There was a candle burning in her window and 2 more in her eyes. It took me a little time.
But now you're here.
Uh-huh.
Well, aren't you going to do something about it?
Yeah. Talk.
Mr. Regan, what's the matter with you?
I've been working hard.
Oh, is that all?
Now listen, lady. This is just too packed, too neat. The ends tied together like Siamese twins.
I'm alone.
Yeah, but you don't want to be. Your boss just rubbed out a killer named Dove.
What?
It was self-defense. I'm a witness, and he'll be out of it inside a week.
Well, then what are we bothering about?
A guy named Jameson. Nobody will believe him.
Why should they?
Because they didn't hire the Dove.
Who did?
You.
Oh, Mr. Regan.
All right, maybe it was your boss. He primed me with a story about giving Jameson 10 G's. Only one ever saw that dough was the Dove.
Well?
That was his price for killing Mrs. Kramer.
You're out in left field, Mr. Regan. I was working.
You were keeping me outside till Kramer could throw a small bullet into his shoulder.
Why would he do that?
To point up that Jameson was still after him.
But he was.
I figured different. And homicide's going to like my way.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Well, this gun has a different version.
Where'd you get it?
Kramer's bottom drawer. And the caliber is going to fit the hole in your boss's shoulder.
Well, that's it. You've got it all now.
Yeah. You know, you got a real nice hair.
Yeah?
That San Quentin water's going to ruin it. Well, the whole thing came apart like a paper hat in a shower bath. Seems that when Jameson got out of prison and threatened Kramer, the lawyer and his secretary figured that it was a good time to get rid of the wife. I suppose she interfered with their skiing or something. Anyway, they hired the Dove to do the job and then got rid of him just so he couldn't ever come to bat for the fall guy, Jameson. Yeah, they had a perfect frame fixed for him, and I was picked to decorate the edges, only it didn't work. Everybody was positive about this one. Kramer knew he was going to win. Emmy knew she was in for a big cut, and the Lion knew he was going to collect a fat fee. They should have all figured it. This is the year for upsets.
Jack Webb is featured as Jeff Regan with Herb Butterfield as Anthony J. Lyon. It's CBS at the same time next week for more hard-boiled action and mystery with Jeff Regan, Investigator. Written by Jackson Gillis and D. Jack Newman. Produced by Sterling Tracy. Featured in tonight's story were Carol Matthews, Marvin Miller, Lou Krugman, Herb Vigran, Mary Lansing, and Larry Dodkin. Original music for this program is by Milton Charles. This is Bob Stevenson speaking. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to homicide detail. A night watchman has been stabbed to death in a downtown appliance store. There's no apparent motive for the killing. No lead to the suspect. Your job, find him.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Monday, August 8th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of homicide detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Lorman. My name's Frank. We were on the way out from the office, and it was 8:26 a.m. when we got to the corner of 7th and Ducommun Streets. Bentley Appliance Company.
Sure, a big place. Huh?
Yeah.
There's somebody coming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what do you want?
Police officers.
Oh, yeah, just a minute. Come on in.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
I guess it'd be a good idea if I locked the door again, huh?
If you'd like to, yes, sir.
Good idea. There, now, it's all secure. My name's Ralph Bentley. I'm the one who put in the call.
This is Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
How you do?
How you do, sir?
Where's the body?
Oh, back here in the stockroom.
Who found him, Mr. Bentley?
Our building superintendent, Curtis Holman.
Is he here now?
Yeah, he's upstairs.
All right.
I suppose you'll want to talk to him.
Yes, we will.
Oh, I'll get it.
Go ahead.
Oh, thanks. Oh, over here. It's behind these packing cases.
Uh-huh.
Well, you can see there he was stabbed.
Yeah.
Oh, it's sure a mess, isn't it?
Yeah. What's his name? Mr. Bentley?
Hmm?
The victim's name?
Oh, Clyde Maddock.
M-A-T-I-C-K?
I-K, no C.
Mm-hmm. What time was the body discovered?
It must have been about 7:30. That's when Holman comes to work.
Did he find it right away?
I don't know. I haven't been able to get him to say much. When I came in, he was just standing here looking at the body. He was kind of numb, you know.
Mm-hmm. What time did you get here?
Must have been about 7:45. That's when I called you, wasn't it?
Yes, sir, about that time.
Yeah, that's when it was, at 7:45.
How long has this Maddock worked for you?
Oh, 3 years. Almost 4.
Has anything in here been disturbed?
Not that I know of. I don't think Holman touched anything. I couldn't talk to him very much, but I'm pretty sure he knows enough to leave things alone. Oh, I sure can't understand it.
What's that?
Well, take a look around. It doesn't look like there's a fight. Does it look like it to you?
No.
Well, that's it.
What do you mean?
Well, it stands to reason it was somebody he knew, some stranger. There'd be signs. He wouldn't just let somebody come up and stab him in the back, now, would he?
Doesn't seem likely, does it?
Well, in the 3 years he's been with us, I've never heard anyone say an unkind thing about Maddock. Not one. Man didn't have an enemy in the world.
Well, that doesn't mean much.
Hmm?
One of his friends didn't like him then. "8:30 a.m. We put in a call to the crime lab and asked them to come out and go over the scene. The manager led us upstairs to the main offices, and we met the building superintendent, Curtis Holman. He was a small man in his early 50s.
I don't care how it looks, Mr. Faraday. I didn't do it. You got to believe that. I didn't have anything to do with it.
Now, nobody says you did, Holman. The officers just want to ask you some questions.
Well, I don't want them to think I killed him. I don't want them to think that.
What time did you find the body?
I guess it must have been around 7:30, someplace around in there.
Mm-hmm.
You see, I just come in, locked the door after me, and then I was going to come up here and change my clothes.
Yeah?
I got my own closet down there in the hall. My own closet.
Yes, sir.
I was coming back, going upstairs, and I saw him just laying there. Right away, I knew he was dead.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't have to have nobody tell me that. I knew he was dead.
What'd you do?
Nothing. Couldn't.
What's that?
Couldn't do nothing. First time I ever saw a dead man. I don't know. I guess just stood there and looked. First time.
Yeah, that's where he was when I came in.
Yeah, I was just there. You see, I didn't kill him. Wasn't me. Somebody did it, but wasn't me.
All right, Holman, all right.
Well, we're friends, Clyde and me. Friends.
I guess I should have told you he doesn't mean any harm.
We understand.
Played cribbage once in a while in the morning. Me and Clyde played cribbage.
Was there anybody else in the store when you got here, Holman?
Huh? You talking to me?
Yes, sir. Did you see anybody else in the place when you got here?
No, just me and Clyde. Only he was dead.
How'd you get in?
Got a key. See, right here. My own key.
How many keys are there, Mr. Bentley?
Oh, it's 3 out. I got one. Holman has one. Maddock had the other one.
Mm-hmm. Have you contacted his family?
Hasn't got one. As far as we know, he hasn't got any people.
You can give us his address, though, can't you?
Well, sure. No trouble at all. He lives upstairs.
What?
Part of the deal we worked out when he started. A little room on the 3rd floor. He gets that and the salary.
Real nice way he fixed it up. All painted bookshelves, a lot of books. All over the place, books.
Wonder if we could see it.
Certainly.
You like it. Real nice room. Nicer than mine. Wish I had it.
We can go down this way.
Want me to go up with you?
Yes, sir, if you'd like to.
Sure. I like Clyde's room.
It'd be faster if we take the stairs.
All
right. Here we are. All right, go ahead.
Thank you.
I guess Clyde had about every book printed. Great one for reading.
That so?
Oh, yeah. All time had his face in the book. All time reading.
Uh-huh.
Smart. Knew all kinds of things. Just asked by the question and he knew the answer. I was all time telling him he should go on the quiz shows. He'd won them all. Knew the names of all the presidents, when they was elected, all about them.
Is that right?
It's right down this way.
All right.
I used to sit there and look through the books. Didn't make much sense to me, but Clyde sure liked them.
All right, Holman. I'm sure the officers know what you mean.
I'm just trying to tell them, that's all. Tell them about Clyde.
Sure. Oh, this is it. Oh, it's locked.
You have a key?
No, I don't.
I got one. Got it on the ring. You want me to open the door?
If you would, yeah.
Sure thing. Glad to help you. Find the right one now.
Here, you dropped this.
Why do you have a key to the room?
Clyde gave it to me. Said it was all right for me to have it in case I wanted to clean up. He let me do that. Clean up.
All right. Well, do you have the key?
Yeah. Here it is. There you are.
Hey. Sure looks like there was a party in here.
Yeah.
Certainly didn't have any idea things like this went on. Oh, just look at this room. Beer bottles all over the place, glasses, empty bottle. This place is filthy.
I was going to clean it up, Mr. Bentley. Honest, I was. Right after I finished with the rest of the building, I was going to clean it up.
Gee. 14 beer bottles, all of them empty. Boy, I don't see how a man could drink that much beer.
Looks like he had some help,
Huh?
What do you got? Take a look at these glasses. Yeah.
Lipstick.
Don't touch them.
I'm sorry. Boy, that really does it. That's the capper.
Sir?
Oh, when he took the job, I made it perfectly clear. No mistake about it, none at all.
What do you mean?
Beer drinking, I don't mind. He's got that right. But I told him there wasn't supposed to be any women up here.
No.
He knew it. Doesn't look good. Place of business just doesn't look good.
Yeah.
I told him if he broke the rule once, just once, he'd be sorry about it. That's what I told him.
He's got no quarrel about it now.
Huh?
He's sorry. The crime lab arrived and started to go over the room. After photographs had been taken, the body was removed to the county morgue. Apparently, the victim had died of internal hemorrhage caused by 3 deep stab wounds in the back. He'd been dead about 36 hours. From questioning the other employees of the store, we were able to find out a little about the victim's background. All of them knew him as a quiet man who kept pretty much to himself. We asked about the women friends. They couldn't help us there either. The questioning continued.
As far as I know, there wasn't anybody.
You ever mention any friends to you?
No, we didn't talk much. I didn't see him a lot. You know, he'd be in the halls or something like that, but we didn't talk much.
Is there anything more you can tell us that might help?
I don't think so. If I think of anything, I'll let you know.
All right. Thank you very much.
Is that all?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, sure getting us nowhere, huh?
Yeah. Let's have the next one, huh?
All right. You come in now, Miss Lask?
Yes.
It's Cora Lask, is that right?
That's right.
My name's Smith. This is Sergeant Friday.
I do.
Are you? Like to sit down?
Thank you. Guess it's about Mr. Maddock, huh?
That's right.
Awful thing to have happen. I work in the office, almost right under his room. Kind of gives me the creeps to think about it. A little creepy.
Did you know him very well?
Yeah, I guess you could say I did. I went to lunch with him a couple of times, even had a couple of dates. Not flower-type dates, though.
How's that?
He didn't bring flowers.
Oh, I see.
We met after work and went to dinner, nothing serious.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know any of his other friends?
Oh, just about everybody in the place. Wasn't anybody that wasn't friends with Mr. Maddock. Everybody liked him.
Is there anybody special?
You mean like a girlfriend?
That's right.
I don't know. Maybe it was Bessie.
Who's that, miss?
Bessie Rowan. Her and Mr. Maddock were pretty friendly. You ask me, I'd say might even have been serious.
She work here?
Yeah, stockroom clerk, head of the department.
I see.
Pretty important job. Got charge of all the ordering.
Yeah. You ever been in Mr. Maddock's room?
I know you're just trying to do what you think is right, Mr. Friday. But I don't like what you're getting at.
No offense, Miss Lask. Just a routine question.
Oh, the answer's no. I told you. I just went out with him a couple of times, that's all.
I see.
You remember that.
Yes, ma'am.
Is Miss Rowan here this morning?
No, she isn't. It's a funny thing, too.
What do you mean?
It's not like her to miss a day's work. Long as I've been here, she never done it before. Always here, always on time.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's so funny. She called this morning and said she wouldn't be able to make it.
She say why?
Not really. Kind of talked around it, you know. Matter of fact, I didn't think she had a real reason for not coming in.
How was that?
The way she acted. Say, you don't think it had anything to do with Mr. Maddox, do you?
I wouldn't know.
I bet that's it. She knows something. That's why she's not coming in. That's the reason.
It's possible.
More than that, she knows something. I'll bet you on it. Bet you anything.
No, I wouldn't be too fair.
Huh?
We'd like to see you win. We checked all of the employees of the store through R&I. Except for 2 drunk arrests for the janitor, Curtis Hallman, there was no record on any of them. We tried to contact Bessie Rowan at her home, but she wasn't there. The neighbors were unable to tell us anything that might aid us in finding her. We asked them to notify us in the event she returned. At 12:46 p.m., an unidentified woman called the Bentley Appliance Company and asked for the victim. She was told that he was out and was asked to leave a phone number where she could be contacted. Frank and I checked with the phone company and found that the number was assigned to a public phone booth in a downtown department store. We drove over to the place and talked with one of the clerks.
Yes, it seems to me there was a woman by the phone booth.
Can you give us a description of her?
Not a very good one, I'm afraid.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anything you can tell us might help.
See, there is one thing, though.
What's that?
Might not mean anything.
Well, what is it, ma'am?
Her hair.
Yeah?
Real red. Not the brightest red I've ever seen. Had to come from a bottle. Never saw any natural hair that color.
All right.
Does that help you any?
Well, we don't know yet.
I didn't think it would. Just something you remember. Something kind of outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought of it. Figured it might be a way for you to remember if it's the one you're looking for.
Well, if it is, we've got another way. 4:35 p.m. Frank and I went back to the city hall and checked into the office. There was a note in the book for us to get in touch with Sergeant J. Allen at the crime lab. He just finished his preliminary examination of physical evidence and wanted to go over his findings with us.
Back here, Joe. Frank?
Yeah. Well, how'd you do?
Not bad. Here, take a look.
Yeah?
These are the beer bottles we found in the room, 14 of them. They're clean. Able to lift 3 good prints from one of the glasses, though.
Enough for identification?
You come up with a finger.
Not enough for classification, though.
No.
Anything else?
I went over the room with a vacuum cleaner. Found this in the couch.
Earring.
Yeah. Imitation stone, Monning's gold filled. Nothing else on it.
Mm-hmm. Any way of checking where it was bought, Jay?
It'll be pretty hard. Costume jewelry, a lot of places make it. Even more than that cellar.
Yeah.
Found this handkerchief on the floor under the couch.
No monogram. Any laundry marks?
No. Went over it with ultraviolet. There's nothing there.
Is that it?
Well, lipstick marks on the glasses. We lifted them. Might be able to use them in identification.
Yeah.
You come up with a motive yet?
No. No, as near as we can tell, there wasn't anything stolen from the store. The victim had $36 in cash on him. Expensive watch, ring. None of it was touched. You got any more for us, Jay?
Well, couldn't find the murder weapon. Wasn't in the room. We checked the rest of the place. Couldn't turn it.
Any idea what it might have been, Jay?
A sharp instrument, probably a pocket knife, 3-inch blade. Oh, one more thing. Not sure about it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get it. Take a look.
What do you got there?
Hair. Found them on the victim's jacket. No way of telling how long they'd been there.
A human?
Yeah. Whoever they belong to shouldn't be too hard to spot.
What do you mean?
Bright red.
We left the crime lab and drove over to the Bentley Appliance Company. We went up to the second floor and talked with the secretary again, Cora Lask.
Sure, I can give you a description of Bessie. No trouble at all.
Have you heard from her today?
Not since this morning. I told you about that. You know, how she wouldn't be in.
Yeah.
That's the only time.
Now, about the description. What color hair does she have?
It's a blonde color.
Dark or light?
Kind of in between. I guess that's the reason she fixes it up.
How do you mean?
Touch-up. Usually a sort of strawberry blonde, I guess you call it.
Uh-huh.
Last time she did it, I guess it was a week ago. She had an accident.
Well?
With the dye. She did something wrong. Sure looked funny.
How do you mean?
But it turned out wrong. Embarrassed her all over the place. Everybody was making cracks about it. She said she was going to redo it first chance she had.
Yeah.
I kind of laughed myself. It was pretty hard to imagine.
What's that?
That color red hair.
We returned to the office and filled out the reports. At 6:18 p.m., we got a call from one of the suspect's neighbors telling us that she'd returned home. We drove out to talk to her.
Yeah?
Bessie Rowan?
That's right. Who are you?
Police officer. I'd like to talk to you.
Well, I haven't got anything to say to you. It's not going to do me much good, though, is it, huh? Is it? You're going to take me down to Pokey anyway, aren't you? Aren't you going to?
Might be better if we talk to you inside.
Oh, well, then. Come on in. Make no difference where we talk. Not a bit. You ain't going to believe me anyway.
About what?
That I didn't kill Clyde. You ain't going to believe me, are you?
Why don't you tell us?
All right, I will. What do you think of that, huh? What do you think of that?
You alone here?
No, I got 3 or 4 friends hiding in the closet. They usually don't come out this early, though. Wait until it gets dark. That's when they like it, when it's dark.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you want me to tell you now, huh? Do you?
About what?
About Clyde. How he's dead. You want me to?
Why don't you try?
No matter what I say, you're going to believe what you want to, so it'd probably be easier if I went along with you, wouldn't it, huh?
Might be.
Okay, then. I killed him.
6:23 p.m. We continued to talk to Bessie Rowan. Frank went out to the kitchen and made a pot of coffee. After we'd gotten several cups down Miss Rowan, she sobered up and was able to answer our questions.
I didn't mean it. I wasn't feeling very good. I guess that's why I said it.
Did you see him Saturday night?
Yeah.
Where?
After work. Met him. We went to the place on the corner, had a couple of drinks, and then I came home.
Ever been in his room?
What, you mean as a company?
Yeah.
Guess it wouldn't do any good to lie about it. Yeah, I've been there.
When?
I don't know. I guess the last time was a week ago. Somewhere in there, I had a couple of drinks.
Mm-hmm. How'd you and Matty get along?
All right. We didn't set the world on fire.
How'd you know he was dead?
Heard it.
Where?
I'd rather not say, like somebody in trouble.
You got a good-sized piece of that right now. Why don't you tell us?
A friend of mine. I called this morning.
That's how you found out?
Yeah. I guess his friend wasn't supposed to say anything. As soon as she did, she told me not to say anything.
What time did you see Maddox last?
I guess it was about 7:30. Right after we came out of the bar, he walked me back to the parking lot, and I came home.
Anybody vouch for that?
No.
You can prove it then, though.
Maybe they changed the laws, huh?
What do you mean by that?
I always thought you had to prove I was guilty. They done away with that?
No.
Then start proving.
All right, get a coat and we'll go downtown.
You gonna book me?
We'll see.
Gotta make a charge, don't you?
If you want it that way.
Never mind. I'll get a jacket.
Where is it?
Bedroom closet.
You want to show me?
You don't trust anybody, do you?
Let's get the coat, lady.
That's the one.
Okay. Here you are.
The gentleman would hold it.
Yeah.
All set?
Yeah, I guess so. We turn off the coffee?
Yeah, I think so.
You better be sure. I'm not going to come home and have to clean a burned coffee pot.
Oh, don't worry about it.
Huh?
You might not be coming home. The woman was taken downtown to the city hall. Her fingerprints were taken, and we checked her name and description through R&I once more, but we failed to come up with a record for her. 8:15 p.m. While I talked to her in the squad room, Frank went down the hall.
You're going to let me go home.
As soon as you tell us the truth.
I've told you everything I know. It's all you're going to get.
Joe.
Yeah.
Here it is.
What's that, the solution to the case?
It might be. It's a report from latent prints.
Yeah?
Your fingerprints match with the ones we found on some glasses in his room.
What does that mean?
You were in his room.
I've already admitted that.
You told us you weren't there Saturday.
So he's a sloppy housekeeper.
Now, we talked to the janitor. He cleaned the room Saturday morning. The glasses weren't there then.
How about it, Miss Rowan?
Make it easier if you give us a statement. Come on.
All right, I was there, but I didn't kill him, and that's the truth.
Go ahead.
After we left the bar, he asked me to come up and have a nightcap. I did.
Yeah?
We had some stuff to talk over.
What?
We wanted to get married. We talked about it before. There was something to hanging him up. I don't know what it was. I told him we couldn't go on like that anymore. It had to be either one way or the other. Either we'd get married or else we'd call the whole thing off.
Yeah.
He asked for a couple of days. Said he'd clean up whatever the trouble was by then.
Yeah.
I told him to go ahead. That's all. Had a couple of drinks, and then I left, and I came straight home.
What time did you get there?
About 10, maybe 10:30.
Why'd you lie to us?
I don't know. I was drunk. You saw that.
Yeah.
I got scared. Figured sure you'd think I did it.
Did Maddox have any other girlfriends?
I don't know. We didn't talk about it.
Did he mention anybody else?
Yeah, I guess. A couple of times he talked about some girl that was giving him trouble, called him at work, on his back. Told me he was trying to get rid of her.
Possible she might have been the reason you couldn't get married?
Yeah, might be.
You know anything about her?
No, he didn't talk much about her. A couple of times he'd be hacked because she'd called the store, made a big scene. Said she was usually gassed. She was a real lush, the way he put it, drunk most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Funny, though. She didn't go for hard booze.
Huh?
Just drank beer.
On the chance that the empty beer bottles we'd found in the victim's room had been bought in the neighborhood, we began an immediate canvass of the liquor stores in the area. We gave the dealers a description of Clyde Maddox, and we also asked if a woman had purchased 14 bottles of beer. In the first 5 stores, we drew a blank, but the clerk in the 6th told us that he had made such a sale on Saturday night to a woman. He was unable to tell us who she was, but he did say that he'd seen her several times in the neighborhood bars. We started to check them. Several bartenders knew the woman, but were unable to tell us her name or where we could find her. At 12:20, we stopped at a place called the Pink Pigeon.
Yeah, I know her. In here all the time. She's a beer drinker.
You know her name?
Let me think. Yeah, Gladys something. I don't think I ever heard the last part. Wouldn't make me unhappy if she didn't come back.
What do you mean?
Well, she's all the time tanked, loud, dirty mouth. Chick like that doesn't do the place any good.
You know where we can get in touch with her?
What's the matter? She done something?
We'd like to talk to her.
Well, sure. I didn't mean to stick my nose in where it don't belong.
That's all right. You know where we can find her?
I don't know. I guess her place would be as good as any.
Well, where's that?
Couple of blocks up. It's a brown house, second from the corner. You can't miss it. Just like her, a real mess. There's weeds all around. It's a brown house.
All right, thank you.
I'm glad to help out. I've been saying for a long time she was going to end up in real trouble. Been saying that for a long time. I've been telling everybody.
Uh-huh.
They didn't believe me.
Well, they will now. We left the bar and drove over to the house the bartender had described. There was a light on in the front room when we got there. The name on the mailbox read, Mrs. Clyde Maddox.
Yes?
You Miss Maddox?
That's right. Who are you?
Police officer.
Come on in. I've been expecting you. So wait a minute, I'll get a coat.
That's all right, I'll get it.
You kind of surprised me.
How's that?
I kind of figured you'd find me before this. Didn't think it'd take this long.
Did you kill him?
Yeah. He wanted a divorce. I wouldn't give it to him. Wanted to marry some floozy where he worked. He wouldn't give me a chance to work things out. I tried to convince him he was wrong. I told him if he tried to leave me, he'd be sorry. I tried to convince him. He wouldn't believe me.
Well, maybe he does now. Let's go.
The story you've just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On December 16th, trial was held in Department 97, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial. Gladys Markham Maddox was tried and convicted of murder in the second degree and received punishment as prescribed by law. Murder in the second degree is punishable by imprisonment for a period of from 5 years to life in the state penitentiary. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to Bunko Fugitive Detail. A man tells you he's been taken for a large sum of money. He thinks it was a swindle. Your job, run it down.
The documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Monday, September 12th. It was hot in Los Angeles. We were working a day watch out of Bunko Fugitive Detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Gideon. My name's Friday. I was on my way back from communications, and it was 2:17 p.m. when I got to room 38. Bunko Fugitive.
Oh, hi, Joe.
Oh, yeah. I get it. Bunko Fugitive, Friday. Yes, that's right. Mm-hmm. Well, when'd you see him last? Well, how much was it? How much? Mm-hmm. All right, sir. We'll be here. Well, right away if I were you. All right, fine. Fellow's coming in to talk to us.
Yeah?
Says he gave a friend of his $40,000.
Oh.
Kind of broke up their friendship.
What do you mean?
The guy skipped out. 2:42 p.m. The man who had telephoned came into the office. He told us that his name was Jeff Craner. He said he had a real estate business on Wilshire Boulevard and that his home residence was on Rossmore near Olympic. He also said that on the previous Tuesday he had given $40,000 to a man who called himself Philip Bonham.
You know where this fellow Bonham lives, Mr. Craner?
I know where he used to live.
Where's that?
Our apartment out in Westwood. Real fancy, beams, ceilings, lots of glass, swimming pool, the whole works.
He's not there anymore, huh?
Well, manager of the building says he moved last Tuesday. The day I gave Phil the money.
Who's they?
Phil and his brother had the place together.
What's the brother's name?
Steve.
Does the manager have any idea where they went?
Well, claims he didn't leave any forwarding address, just shoved off.
How long have you known the Bonhams, Mr. Craner?
6 or 8 weeks.
How'd you happen to meet up?
Through a friend, a mutual friend.
What would you tell us about it?
Well, it's not going to come out, is it? Newspapers, anything like that?
What do you mean?
Well, you see, I'm married.
Yeah.
Now, we haven't been getting along so well for the last year or so, but I'm still married.
Mm-hmm.
The way I met up with the Bonhams, you see, it was through a girl.
Yeah. What was her name?
Barbara Wist.
Who's she?
Oh, just a girl, that's all. Maybe she was in on it, too. I don't know. Anyway, she introduced me to him.
About how long have you known her?
Oh, the 3 months, maybe, a few weeks before I met them.
I see.
We got acquainted at an auction. One of those houses out on Beverly Boulevard where they sell off furniture and things from movie stars' houses.
Mm-hmm.
Used to spend a lot of my free evenings at those auctions. Wasn't any point in staying home, not my wife feeling towards me the way she does. I didn't buy much, just a piece every once in a while. It looked like a bargain.
And that's where you met this woman, huh?
Yes.
Where was she living, do you know?
Had a room at a hotel in Hollywood, the Count George.
Mm-hmm. So go ahead, Mr. Craner. What happened next?
Well, we got to be pretty good friends, and one night she offered to put me in touch with a couple of guys she knew who said they were interested in buying some real estate and that I might as well handle the deal. Well, that's how I met up with the Bonhams.
Yes, sir.
We went out to their apartment. They're having a little party. A couple more girls were there. On a Friday night, I guess we all got kind of loaded. Next thing I knew, we were all flying down to Vegas for the weekend. Well, we sure had quite a time for ourselves. Stopped at one of the best hotels, Chateau Lafayette. Everybody making a big fuss like the Bonhams were VIPs.
Yeah.
After that, we had some deals together. Most of them worked out. Whenever they didn't, the Bonhams took care of me anyhow.
What kind of deals? Mr. Craner?
I guess maybe they weren't, well, strictly ethical, but there wasn't anything illegal about it.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to cut a couple of corners if you're going to get ahead in this world.
Is that right?
I get a little tired of this, Sergeant.
Sir?
You act like I'm at fault, like I'm the one who's in the wrong. Now, you remember it was me that got swindled in $40,000 worth.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the criminal, you know. They are.
Sure.
You want to tell us about the $40,000, Mr. Craner?
If you're all through with these accusations.
Go ahead, Mr. Craner.
All right.
It was last Tuesday. Phil Bonham called me at my office. Said he had to see me right away about a proposition, a really big one.
Mm-hmm.
We met for lunch. Bonham said they'd just had word from one of their contacts in Las Vegas. A couple of Eastern gamblers had tapped the casino of the Chateau Lafayette for $250,000.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the Chateau needed some money, and they needed it fast. So the owners were willing to sell a 5% interest in the hotel for $100,000. Now, Phil said it was a cinch that we'd get our investment back inside of 6 months, and from then on, it was just gravy. Everybody knows how much those hotels in Las Vegas make.
So you gave him the money?
Yes, I drew it out of the bank that afternoon. Had to be in cash.
Did you know the denominations of the bill?
They're all hundreds.
Mm-hmm. What happened then?
I went back to the office, and the Bonhams took off for Las Vegas. At least that's what they were supposed to do. They said they'd call me from there. But when I still hadn't heard anything by Friday, I went over to their apartment and talked to the manager. He said they'd moved out Tuesday at 5 p.m.
Why didn't you get in touch with us then?
They didn't seem like crooks, not a bit.
What were they like?
Well, what?
Would you describe them for us?
Well, Philip's the oldest. He's about 45.
Mm-hmm.
Light hair, complexion.
How big is he?
Tall, about 6-foot man. Thin, sort of rangy.
Mm. What about his brother?
Oh, Steve's maybe 3 or 4 years younger. A little shorter, not much though. A little heavier.
What color is his hair?
Reddish kind.
The girl who introduced you to him, you said her name was Barbara Wist?
Yes, that's right.
How do you spell that?
W-I-S-T.
You want to describe her, too?
Well, it's pretty hard to say how old she is. I'm not very good at judging a woman's age.
Well, approximately, then.
Oh, 28, 29, 30, could even be 35.
Mm-hmm.
Blonde, real white streak across the front, very attractive. Good company, nice build. Well, you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Have you tried to get in touch with her since you saw the Bonhams last?
Yes, I called the hotel.
Well?
She moved out last Thursday morning.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how are you supposed to know?
What?
Well, who to trust? They were so darn nice to me, the Bonhams and Barbara. There wasn't any way of figuring that what they were after. They, like you say, that they were just kind of setting me up.
Mm-hmm. But you had a tip-off.
Yes? Well, when?
When you thought you were getting something for nothing. 3:08 p.m. We ran the names Philip and Steve Bonham and Barbara Wist through R&I. They had nothing on them. We went back to the office and showed the victim mug shots of known confidence men. He was unable to identify any of the photographs. 3:32 p.m. We showed him mugs of confidence women.
No, not on that page, Sergeant.
Uh-huh.
Sergeant? My wife won't find out about all this, will she?
Not from us.
We haven't been getting along for quite a while, but, well, you know, she just wouldn't understand.
Mm-hmm.
Funny, aren't they?
How's that?
Women, even if they won't have anything to do with you themselves, they just don't want another day moving in.
Want to go on to the next page?
Oh, yeah, sure. Say now.
Yeah?
That looks like her.
Well, is it?
No, I guess not. There's something different there. Sure is a resemblance, though.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody on this page. Now, wait a minute. That was her.
Where?
Here, right here, the one I pointed out before.
Oh, I see.
That's Barbara, all right there.
You said there was something different about this woman, didn't you?
Well, there is, but now that I think about it, any gal's apt to do that.
Do what?
Dye her hair.
The victim was positive in his identification of the photograph. Frank and I pulled the woman's package. Her true name was Mabel Salton, WFA, 36 years old, 5 feet 4, weighed 117 pounds, blue eyes, brunette hair. Her record showed 2 convictions for grand theft and an arrest for suspicion of theft the previous June. 4:15 p.m. We talked to Johnny DeBetta, the officer who had made the June arrest.
Yeah, that's right, Joe. Van and I pulled her in. We couldn't make it stick, though.
Why not?
Well, the victim gave us an ident, but we didn't have enough to hold her on. All she did was introduce the mark to a couple of con men. They did the taking.
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't prove that she was in on it. The sucker hadn't given her the money.
Yeah. Wouldn't cop out either.
She's a looker, not a talker. I'd rather tackle a guy any time with a dame like that. Once you decide to keep her mouth shut, you can't get it open with a pair of pliers. What about the guys she was working with? A couple of brothers. Don't remember the names they used offhand. It's in the file, so.
Got any leads to them?
Description, M.O. We put out a local and APB. We couldn't turn them up, though. They must have skipped town. I see. They had a tail for a while, see if she'd lead us to them. Nowhere. That's where we ended up. They back in L.A.? They were last week. Make another pigeon? Yeah. And I hope you have better luck than we did. Yeah, we're going to need it. If they've moved on, it won't be very easy to catch up with. Sure? They got a lot of traveling money. Oh, yeah? $40,000. Frank and I put out a local and an APB on the two male suspects. We also put out a bulletin on the female suspect, Mabel Salton. But we requested that in her case, no arrest be made. We asked to be contacted in the event that she was located. From Johnny DeBetta, we learned that the Salton woman had also met the previous victim at an auction. Auctioneers and owners of auction houses were told to notify us if they saw the suspect. We talked to the manager of the apartment where the male suspects had lived and to check the clerk at the Count George Hotel. They were unable to help us. We contacted Las Vegas and learned that the Chateau Lafayette was in excellent financial condition. We also contacted CII up at Sacramento to see if they could give us an identification of the male suspects. We received a negative response. No new leads developed. 5 weeks passed. Wednesday, October 19th, 9:46 a.m. Bunko fugitive Friday. Yes, sir. That's right. When? I see. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Tencher Auction House out on 3rd Street.
Yeah?
Auctioneer says he sold a couple of lamps to an old customer last night.
Who?
Mabel Salton. A.m. Frank and I drove out to the Tencher Auction Gallery on West 3rd. We showed the auctioneer a mugshot of Mabel Salton, and he said he was positive she was the woman he had seen the previous night. We went back to the office and had a conference with the skipper.
You're sure picking her up won't do any good?
Well, it didn't before, Captain.
Yeah.
Of course, this might not work either. We don't even know if her pals are back in town.
Well, how do you plan to make the contact?
Hang out at auctions, do a lot of bidding, let her think I'm loaded.
I don't know. May it be better if Smith went undercover this time. He looks more like a mark to me.
Well, now, wait a minute, Skipper.
Oh, you know what I mean.
Well, I know. I'm afraid using Smith would give us a problem, Captain.
Yeah?
Take another look at her picture.
Not bad, is she?
No, that's the trouble. Smith's got a wife. Arrangements were made for me to assume the name of Joe Fawcett. I took a room at a hotel in Hollywood and established myself as a businessman recently arrived from Chicago. Auction houses were told that I would be bidding on various items, and if my bid was accepted, the item was to be re-auctioned at some future date, and any loss incurred would be made good. During the next week, I attended 4 auctions. The woman suspect, Mabel Salton, was present at 2 of them. Thursday, October 27th, 9:42 p.m., I attended the 5th auction. It was at the Tencher Galleries. I managed to get a seat next to the suspect.
I have $45. I have $25. Who'll make it 30? Who'll make it 30? Come on, ladies and gentlemen, a mirror like this costs over $100 in any retail store. 25. Who'll give 30?
30.
Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, this mirror belongs to one of America's most glamorous actresses, Miss Nora Westcliff. You've all seen her dozens of times on the screen. Here's your chance to buy one of her personal possessions. And don't forget where this mirror was hung. In Nora's bedroom. All right, now who'll make it 30? I have 25. Who'll give 30?
30 here.
Thank you, sir. There's a gentleman who appreciates the finer things. I have 30. I have 30. Going once, that's 30.
35.
35. Who'll give 40? 35. Who'll give 40? How about it, sir? Don't let the little lady take it away from you.
If you really want it, it doesn't matter that much to me.
Well, that's very kind of you.
Are you all done? 35 once, 35 twice. So the way to 35. And now, ladies and gentlemen, our next item is a very unusual piece. It was designed especially.
Thanks for letting my bid stand.
That's all right. Forget it.
Is there any way I can pay you back? Maybe you'd let me buy you a drink after the auction.
No, that isn't necessary. I didn't really want that mirror anyway.
I'd like to. Unless you're busy.
No, not a bit. You got a customer.
Now, you see how hard it is for them to lift it? Shows you the quality of the model. All right, boys, better set it down now again before you string it out.
Haven't you done some of the other sales?
A couple of them, yeah.
I thought you looked familiar. Come to think of it, I remember the things you bought.
Is that right?
Yeah, very good taste.
Thank you.
Magnificent center of attention. This is the table for you. Police is on the track. Cut his victory.
I just love these auctions. Of course, I always end up buying a lot of things I don't need.
Well, that happens to me, too.
And afterwards, you feel so darn foolish that there's nothing you can do. By then, it's too late.
Yeah, same here.
Well, that's true. If he's properly treated first. But this table will never show a stain no matter what you
Yes, we have something in common, don't we, Mr.
I'm 40 minutes.
Fawcett. Joe Fawcett.
I'm Mona Eastman.
How do you do?
Very nice to meet you, Mr. Fawcett.
No, the pleasure's all mine. 11:16 p.m. We left the auction and drove over to the suspect's apartment. It was on the second floor of a two-story building just off Olympic Boulevard.
Bar's right over there, Joe. You'll take charge when I get out of my coat.
You bet. Scotch or bourbon?
It doesn't matter. Whatever you're having.
Hey.
Is the ice all melted?
No, there's a little left here.
That's good. I'm really awfully glad you could drop by.
So am I. Where's your drink?
Oh, thanks. Well, cheers.
Cheers. Strong enough for you?
That's just the way I like it. Why don't we sit down?
Sure.
Where's your home, Joe?
Well, I really don't have one yet.
Oh?
I got a hotel room over in Hollywood. I've been staying there for the last few days.
What about all these things you've been buying? The auction?
Oh, they're all for my new place. It hasn't come out of escrow yet.
I see.
It's out in Bel Air. Wish they'd hurry up and let me move in. For all I know, I may be getting too much stuff. I don't know what you need to furnish your house.
Well, isn't your wife?
Oh, I'm not married, Mona. Not anymore.
Oh, I see.
We broke up about a year ago.
Funny.
What's that?
That's when it happened to me. Just a year ago.
Is that so?
Maybe we have a little too much in common.
Yeah.
She hurt you, didn't she, Joe?
Well...
I can see it in your eyes. You have very sad eyes. And soft and thoughtful.
Oh, I don't know.
I think you can tell a lot about a person from your eyes.
You do, huh?
That's the first thing I notice about somebody. What do you notice, Joe?
Well, I guess I never thought too much about it, tell you the truth.
What'd you notice first with me? Well?
Well, I guess it was your voice.
Oh?
You know, when you were bidding, I think that's what I noticed first.
I don't know whether that's a compliment or not.
Well, you have a very pleasant voice, Mona. Very pleasant.
George didn't think so.
Who?
My husband.
Oh.
He said I whined and nagged and made life miserable for him. Why'd you split up?
Just didn't work out.
You think you'll ever try it again?
Oh, I don't know. It's pretty hard to say.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Well, I guess lots of people make mistakes.
Yeah, sure.
You need a freshener?
No, I have plenty here. Fix you up?
Yes, please. You don't drink very much, do you?
No, I just don't feel like it tonight.
No. Is it the company?
No, of course not.
I'm sorry if I, sort of forced you into taking me home.
Why, don't be silly.
I just felt that... Well, you didn't look very happy, and I thought maybe we both needed to be with someone else for a change.
Sure. Yeah.
Thanks. What line are you in, Joe?
What's that?
What's your business?
Well, nothing right now. I guess you might say I'm unemployed.
What?
I had a company of my own back in Chicago, textile manufacturing. I sold it when we split up.
What are you going to do now?
Oh, I'm sort of looking around. I got a little cash enough to get by on.
Oh?
If the right thing turns up, I guess I might go into it.
I suppose it's hard to tell what to put your money into nowadays.
Yeah, well, there's no hurry.
You know, that reminds me.
If
you really do want to get into something good,
yeah,
I know a couple of businessmen. Oh, they're not close friends or anything like that, but they have some excellent contacts.
Is that so?
I'm sure they could put you into something that would give you a nice return on your investment.
Well, it wouldn't do any harm to talk to them, would it?
I'm afraid you can't right now.
Why not?
They're out of town. Too bad, isn't it?
Yeah, sure is. The Salton woman told me she'd let me know as soon as her friends returned to Los Angeles. During the next 10 days, I saw her on several occasions. As far as I could tell, the so-called Bonham brothers were still out of town. Tuesday, November 8th, 8:40 p.m. I was in my hotel room. Hello? Yes, Mama. Well, how about tonight? Sure, I'll pick you up. By 9:30? Fine. Bye. You want to get me Michigan 5211, please? That's right. Extension 2572. That's right. Extension 2572. Smith there? This is Joe. Yeah, I just heard from her. Better get hold of Debette and have him stand by. Tonight. Says they just blew into town. Over the phone, the Salton woman had told me her two business acquaintances had returned to Los Angeles. I was to meet them that night. Frank and Johnny Debette made arrangements to tail my car. 9:28 p.m. I picked up the female suspect. She told me her friends had rooms in the St. Clair Hotel over on Figueroa. We drove over there. It was 9:42 when we arrived. We went up to room 417. She introduced me to two men who matched the description of the male suspects we were looking for. They said their names were Tom and Fred Porst.
Sure is nice to meet you, Mr. Fawcett. Mona's been telling us about you. It seems you've made quite a hit with her.
Is that so? She told me about you fellas, too.
Now you've got to understand one thing.
What's that?
Anything we discuss in the business line, that is, well, it's got to be confidential.
Well, sure.
You see, my brother and I, we don't make a practice of taking outside investments, right, Fred?
Right.
Matter of fact, we don't even need any outside capital at the moment. We've sort of got a surplus.
Oh, I see. Well, maybe some other time then, huh? Nice to have met you.
What's your hurry, Fawcett?
Well, you said that...
I said we don't need any capital.
Yeah.
Well, we might make an exception in your case, though.
Oh?
On account of Mona.
Well, I don't want you to put yourselves out. Something else will turn up.
Now, wait a minute. I was just thinking.
What's that?
Well, it never hurts to spread a good thing around. You got any plans for this Saturday?
Well, I don't know. What do you have in mind?
Well, I thought we might fly down to Vegas. Get us a couple of girls. You can bring along Mona.
Why Vegas?
Oh, we got a friend down there. He made a killing at the crap tables a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Stuck it in $1,000 bill.
Oh?
Now, he sort of forgot to mention it on his income tax, and now he could use the loot, but he's afraid to cash in the bills himself.
Yeah, I see.
He might be willing to sell them to us at a discount. You interested?
No, not very.
Why not?
An old con game like that?
What?
Well, this is the best you can do. The $1,000 bill routine's got whiskers on it. I should have known.
What are you talking about? How would you know? Listen, Fawcett, what are you doing here anyway? Why'd you want to meet us?
I was kind of curious about how you boys work. I heard a lot about you.
Huh?
Thought maybe I could pick up a new angle or two. Looks like I was wrong.
Well, what's the show? Oh, don't you see? He was just checking up on our pitch.
Yeah?
Well, he's a con man, too. Oh, you really pulled one this time, Mona, picking a pro for a mark.
How was I supposed to know?
Well, just one look. You should have been able to tell Platus and those on your face.
It is, huh?
Sure. Don't take it to heart, buddy. You might fool the suckers, but I'm in the same racket. Well, I should have guessed it when you walked in the door. It's written all over you.
Yeah.
Where you been pitching lately?
City Hall.
Huh?
I'm a police officer. You're under arrest.
The story you've just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent. On February 2nd, trial was held in Department 98, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial. Mabel Harris Salton was tried and convicted of grand theft, 1 count, and received sentence as prescribed by law. Thomas Herbert Porst and Fred James Porst, alias Philip and Steve Bonham, were tried and convicted of grand theft, 2 counts, and received sentence as prescribed by law. Grand theft is punishable by imprisonment in the county jail for not more than 1 year, or in the state prison for not less than 1, nor more than 10 years.